In this realm of ninjas, the reality is far from idyllic. The air is thick with the pall of war and malevolence, as the echoes of battle seem never to fade. The skirmishes between various ninja villages resemble venomous serpents lurking in the shadows, poised to strike with lethal precision at any moment. The smaller nations and their diminutive ninja villages, tethered to the five great powers, have become mere pawns in the grand game of the larger states, perpetually ensnared in a cycle of violence and treachery, never truly experiencing peace. Violence and wickedness proliferate, unchecked in this world that I in the relentless pursuit of resources, territory, and dominion. Ninjas are compelled to tread upon the battlefield, risking their very lives. Each clash is a grim tapestry woven from blood and fire, with lives extinguished in an instant, leaving behind a trail of unending sorrow and anguish. For the nations, the various ninja villages often serve as sacrificial offerings to the whims of political machinations. They endure not only distrust and suspicion, but also the weight of betrayal. Even in the fleeting moments of tranquility, schemes and calculations persist unabated. Internally, the strife is oftentimes more brutal than external conflicts. Various factions conspire in the shadows, resorting to unscrupulous means to safeguard their interests. Within this intricate web of turmoil, ninjas navigate their paths precariously, uncertain of when they might be swept into yet another tempest. Yet amidst this darkness, a flicker of hope persists. A handful of courageous ninjas, yearning for peace, diligently seek the seeds of hope within this thorn-laden land. Through their actions, they embody the essence of courage, camaraderie, and conviction, striving to usher in a modicum of change to this world rife with violence and malevolence. I am the one who aspires to bring peace and tranquility to this world, a notion that sometimes strikes me as ludicrous. However, one must always harbor hopes for a brighter future, otherwise, the will to live would wither away. Indeed, I am the knave Jonin, Chihiro, from the Hidden Leaf Village. Having just returned from a mission. As I stroll through the streets of Konoha, bustling with vendors, I find solace in sipping tea at a quaint tea shop, savoring the rare tranquility as beautiful women pass by. At that moment, a girl with long brown hair tied in a high ponytail, clad in umbu attire, approached me. She wore the distinctive fox mask of the umbu, a fan at her waist, and a gem-encrusted ninja blade on her back. This was Iane Natsum, the daughter-in-law of the third Hokage, a comrade I often fought alongside in the umbu. Chihiro, the Hokage requests your presence, she stated. The old man never allows for a moment's peace. I've barely sipped my tea, and am not done admiring the view. I grumbled in protest. As I exited, I inadvertently collided with Irika, who was in hot pursuit of Naruto, who had defaced Hokage Rock. Irika was intent on bringing him back. Hey, Irika, let's grab a drink tonight, I began, but Iane swiftly pulled me away to the Hokage's office. The third Hokage, Sarutobi Hiruzen, was still puffing on his pipe. Upon entering, I plopped down on the desk before him. Always in a rush, never letting anyone rest, I remarked, just as Iane was about to chastise my rudeness. The third Hokage gestured for her to step out, and once we were alone, my demeanor shifted to seriousness as I approached the window. I encountered Itachi. He has only met the masked man once, and the true leader of the organization is not the masked man. They communicate through the use of ninjutsu, and all he knows is that the leader possesses the Rinnegan, which is far superior to the Sharingan. A wielder of the Six Paths' eyes? Such a being truly exists. The third Hokage expressed his astonishment, clearly taken aback by the revelation. They are currently recruiting strength rogue ninjas from various nations, claiming they are amassing strength. However, Itachi mentioned something crucial concerning the tailed beast that I recall you telling me. That the first Hokage distributed the tailed beasts among the major villages to maintain a balance of power. Could they be contemplating using the tailed beasts to strike at the nations? I share my assessment, Sai. The situation grows increasingly convoluted. The nations maintain a fought of peace while our internal strife deepens. When war comes, I shudder to think how many lives will be lost, the third Hokage lamented, releasing a cloud of smoke from his pipe. Gazing out the clear skies, I pondered if this was merely the calm before the storm. I decided to take things as they come. Enough of this. Naruto and Sasuke are about to graduate from the Ninja Academy, he said, glancing at the list in his hand. Sasuke had achieved perfect scores, while Naruto had failed all his subjects. Huh. Watergate's son continues to be as unique as ever. I chuckled, observing Naruto's dismal scores. Sasuke is hailed as a genius by all his teachers, and you have also been labeled a genius. Would you be interested in becoming a teacher? The third Hokage inquired with a smile. Not in the slightest. I lack the ability to teach others, let alone manage my own learning. I would only mislead my students, I replied candidly. What use is genius? Just look at our village, every surviving ninja is a genius in this ruthless world where the weak are harvested and only the strong endure, I remarked. When will the weak be allowed to live unperturbed, granting the world true peace? I mused before departing. The third Hokage's office. I have always been alone, an orphan raised in the chaos of war, retrieved from the battlefield by the third Hokage. Growing up in the Ninja Academy, I owe my opportunity to thrive to his meticulous care, but I consider myself fortunate, for many like me perished in those tumultuous times. I am grateful to have survived. That night, as I shared drinks with Kakashi and Irika, the atmosphere was lively. Naruto has stolen the Book of Seals. The Hokage has summoned everyone to assemble immediately. Nearly all the elite and mid-level ninjas of Konoha gathered, the urgency stemming from the third Hokage's understanding of the Nine Tails residing within Narutothis was no trivial matter. Just recently, Naruto had been deemed unqualified to become a genin, as he struggled with even the most fundamental techniques like the shadow clone and transformation jutsu, and needed further training. Yet somehow, Naruto had discovered the location of the Book of Seals. The book contains forbidden jutsu. The consequences are unimaginable. We must locate Naruto. According to Irika, Mizuki has vanished, and he likely incited Naruto to steal the book. We must find him. The third Hokage analyzed the situation. Can a child truly comprehend the Book of Seals? Mizuki himself is incapable of much. He must be under someone else's influence. To be safe, we should put the village on high alert to prevent an ambush, I advised. Isn't that a bit excessive? There's no clear evidence of an imminent threat, Asuma interjected. Let's implement a level 2 alert. It's better to be cautious. First, we must locate Naruto, the third Hokage commanded, prompting all ninjas to disperse immediately. A level 2 alert in Konoha means heightened vigilance, with ninjas returning to their posts. That a level 1 alert, however, would see children and women seeking shelter while ninjas prepared for battle. As I anticipated, events unfolded as I predicted. In the woods surrounding the village, dozens of ninjas gathered, clad in brown attire with gray-white cloaks, devoid of any national insignia. It was evident they had prepared in advance. Led by a rotund ninja, we have reached the appointed time, yet the contact has not appeared. If they do not show, we will proceed with Plan B. We possess detailed knowledge of Konoha's defenses and the Book of Seals' location. It should not be an issue to stealthily seize it, the stout ninja declared, readying his comrades for the second plan. It seemed Mizuki had long been in collusion with external foes, with the Book of Seals as their target, preparing to defect with it. Silence. Shine. Konoha is the mightiest of the ninja villages. We must charge in, but if we alert the Hokage, we will be utterly outmatched. Send someone to scout ahead, but ensure the enemy remains unaware, spoke a female ninja adorned with a yellow mask. Understood, Lady Kurotsuchi, replied Cheyenne, the leading ninja, who appeared to hold profound respect for her. That moment, a slender and diminutive ninja suddenly exclaimed, "We have company." Concealed behind the trees, the ninja belonged to Konoha's perimeter patrol, who had intensified their vigilance by deploying additional sentinels around the village to ensure its safety and gather intelligence, striving to preemptively detect threats and keep adversaries at bay. Upon realizing they had been discovered, the Konoha ninja turned to flee, but the group of attackers surged forward. The stoutest among them swiftly closed the distance, reaching the Konoha ninja in an instant. The Konoha ninja hurled shuriken, striking Cheyenne, yet the attack bore no consequence, merely ricocheting off. Cheyenne quickly performed hand seals, delivering a punch that sent the Konoha ninja flying, employing earth release techniques to petrify her fist. We have no choice. We are already detected. Konoha ninjas will soon arrive. We must execute Plan B. While their response is delayed, we shall steal the sealing scroll. Once we secure it, Lady Kurotsuchi will depart with the scroll, and I shall cover our retreat. And no matter what, we must ensure Lady Kurotsuki's safety, Shine declared, swiftly orchestrating their strategy after vanquishing the Konoha ninja. In truth, had they opted to retreat now, they might have escaped. However, their commitment to the mission compelled them to breach Konoha, an endeavor that proved far from simple. Such is the lament of a ninja, for the mission must always take precedence. Meanwhile, Naruto, clutching the sealing scroll, had ventured to the outskirts, where Iwagakure was the first to locate him. However, Mizuki soon followed. In an effort to shield Naruto, Iwagakure sustained injuries, yet Naruto, defying expectations, mastered the shadow clone technique, unleashing a flurry of blows upon Mizuki. The shadow clone technique is classified as forbidden due to its immense chakra consumption. Battles among ninjas are a life-or-death affair, where a single decisive strike is paramount. Dividing chakra among clones is not advantageous, as each clone siphons off a portion of a user's chakra, leading to exhaustion. Nonetheless, such concerns seemed trivial to Naruto. Though injured, Iwagakure was likely to recover, and CHJR had yet to intervene. The son of the fourth Hokage could not be so inept. He undoubtedly had a path of growth ahead. Here, there were no issues, as Mizuki, a third-rate ninja, could only resort to underhanded tactics. At that moment, CHJR heard a tremendous commotion emanating from the north of Konoha. Realizing that the true enemy had arrived, he hastened towards the source of the disturbance. Outside the village of Konoha, the forest bore witness to the clash of combatants, both sides suffering casualties. Yet, the enemy had already incurred significant losses, while our side boasted a clear numerical superiority. Reinforcements from Konoha's elite shinobi were steadily arriving. As the enemy, a sand ninja, unleashed his earth shield and earth stone dragon towards the Konoha ninjas, a simultaneous response emerged from our side as the earth dragon rose from the ground. Both sides releasing their techniques, resulting in a mutual cancellation of the dragoness powers. At that moment, Chitaki arrived. Lord Chitaki, that rotund figure, is their leader. Proficient in earth release and quite formidable, he can harden his body into stone. The slender one has yet to engage but appears to be directing the fight with a keen sense of perception. They are shielding that masked ninja in the center. I am uncertain of the masked ninja's abilities. As the foremost Konoha Jonin, Chitaki absorbed the intelligence conveyed by his comrades. Do not engage recklessly, retreat, and remain vigilant. I shall handle the situation from here. The Konoha ninjas complied, stepping back. Who are you, and what is your purpose in invading Konoha? Before Chitaki could complete his inquiry, the sand ninja warned, be cautious. This individual possesses an abundance of chakra. Do not underestimate him. It was evident that the slender ninja was indeed a sensory type. Without further ado, Chitaki launched his assault, invoking water release, water wave. With a silent incantation, he executed his jutsu, while the sand ninja defended with his earth shield and earth flow wall. Chitaki smirked, knowing he had lured them into a trap. Lightning release, lightning wolf. Chitaki clasped his left arm with his right hand and summoned a furious wolf of lightning from his left hand, which darted forth with blinding speed, swiftly dispatching the lesser enemy ninjas and racing towards the masked ninja. The slender ninja warned the masked figure to be cautious, realizing that the water wave was merely a feint to distract the sand ninja, while the true target was the masked one. Reacting swiftly, the masked ninja took to the skies under the slender ninja's protection. First, observe your own fate. With that, Chitaki unleashed lightning release, Chidori sharp spear, catching everyone off guard as he pierced through the earth flow wall, impaling the slender ninja. Blood spewed forth as the slender figure collapsed, unconscious. Chitaki's extensive battle experience informed him that within a combat scenario, a sensory ninja is the brain of the team, crucial in protecting their charges. Quite often, sensory ninjas prove to be more valuable than their combat-oriented counterparts, as they are adept at uncovering the opponent's vulnerabilities swiftly and eliminating them effectively. Flee. This individual is too powerful, exclaimed the sand ninja as he charged toward Chitaki, evidently seeking to buy time for the masked ninja's escape. The sand ninja hardened his fists into stone, forcing Chitaki to retreat as the ground beneath him was violently shattered, creating a massive crater. Such strength. A single blow could be fatal. This is quite troublesome, particularly since I am not adept at close-quarters combat. The sand ninja relentlessly pressed his assault. denying Chitaki any opportunity to escape and successfully stalling him while the masked ninja made his retreat. Do not let the enemy escape. Other Konoha ninjas pursued without hesitation, but the sand ninja lunged at Chitaki once more, leaving him no choice but to evade. The ground erupted in a cloud of dust from the impact. Yet the sand ninja seized the moment to pivot and attack the other Konoha ninjas, revealing the masked ninja's significance as someone worth protecting at any cost. Whether as a mission target or a leader. Lava release. Calcium solidification technique. Haitu expelled a quick-setting cement from his mouth, which, when mixed with water, expanded its reach and swiftly solidified all the leaf ninjas present. Was it a bloodline limit? Yet this jutsu failed to ensnare Chitaki. The cement seemed to lose its potency near her, vanishing entirely, leaving her astounded. Chitaki ceased her idle chatter. Entangling with two opponents could lead to dire consequences. Just then, Cheyenne surged forward, his entire body transformed into a pitch-black stone, exuding an aura of formidable hardness. It appeared he intended to deliver a fatal blow to Chitaki, aiming to coordinate with the cement to restrict her movements, thus allowing Cheyenne to eliminate her in a single strike. Chitaki quietly whispered the words of the return to origin technique, and as Cheyenne charged, his hardened form abruptly disappeared. Before he could process the shock, the raikiri she had gathered in her hand pierced through his chest. He collapsed, words unspoken, lifeless. Indeed, this was Chitaki's extraordinary ability. Any ninjutsu reliant on chakra that approached her would decompose back to its primal state, dissipating into nothingness. To Chitaki's perception, all ninjutsu was merely a process of chakra concentration. The essence of a ninja's training lies in the materialization of chakra and its mastery for one's own purpose. From a young age, Chitaki exhibited exceptional proficiency with chakra and mastered numerous ninjutsu, fundamentally due to her unique ability. As her adversaries unleashed their techniques, she could sense their chakra usage and simultaneously execute the same jutsu, akin to perfect replication. This was also influenced by the clandestine teachings of the third Hokage, whose disciple was renowned as one of the legendary three ninjas. The third Hokage himself was revered as the professor of ninjutsu, possessing all elemental chakra and mastering nearly every technique of the Leaf Village, adeptly combining 5 different elemental jutsu. His profound understanding and mastery of ninjutsu, encompassing conventional techniques, forbidden arts, and knowledge of bloodline limits, earned him the title of professor, a testament to his formidable abilities and extensive knowledge. Under the third Hokage's tutelage, Chitaki learned a multitude of jutsu, further enhanced by her innate capability. Through countless battles, she discovered her ability to sense the flow of chakra around her, enabling her to disassemble incoming ninjutsu. This power was undeniably formidable. Later, enemies dubbed her the Immunity Ninja, and she became the youngest elite ninja of the Leaf. The masked ninja, unable to mourn for her fallen comrades, fled desperately, but Chitaki was relentless in her pursuit. Channeling the lightning release, Chidori Sharp Spear, she unleashed the jutsu, targeting the masked ninja's head. In an unfortunate misstep, the mask shattered, revealing short black hair and a strikingly beautiful face, a young woman of 17 or 18 years. Indeed, this was the granddaughter of the Tsuchikage, Haitu, although Chitaki would only learn this later. Lightning release. 1,000 birds, a multitude of thunderous projectiles surged towards the young girl. Caught off guard, she was unable to evade them. The dense barrage of lightning, akin to a torrential downpour, was particularly effective against her, as she possessed the Earth Shield attribute, which was vulnerable to lightning release. When the mask was knocked off, revealing the girl's striking beauty, Qianlong abandoned his murderous intent, for he never harmed women, particularly those as enchanting as her, driven by a certain lustfulness. This ninjutsu had a paralyzing effect, rendering her movements severely restricted. Who sent you here, and what is your purpose? Speak, and I shall let you go. Given your beauty, I would spare your life. What do you say, my dear? Qianlong chuckled as he gazed at the girl leaning against the tree trunk. In truth, killing such a young maiden held little significance. Yet information was of paramount importance in the world of ninjas, capable of altering the fate of entire nations. Just kill me. I want to say a word. I cannot betray my comrades, she resolutely declared, her face set with the resolve of one prepared to meet her demise. Really? You are so lovely. Wouldn't it be a shame to end your life? Qianlong crouched down, caressing her smooth cheek, pinching her chin as he spoke. What are you doing? Just kill me already. The girl, visibly flustered, urged him. The earlier rotund individual, named Cheyenne, had disregarded his own safety to protect her. She, as a ninja, undoubtedly held a noble status. Her delicate complexion suggested she had not endured the rigors of ninja training, likely hailing from a prestigious family within the hidden village. Ninjas could be broadly categorized into two classes, one comprised of the prominent clans of each hidden village, which formed the foundation of these villages. They were either the founders or families that had risen to prominence over generations, often possessing powerful clan jutsu and numerous clan members, holding significant positions within the village. The village leaders, or Hokage, were typically chosen from among them, such as the Senryu clan, Uchiha clan, and the later influential Sarutobi clan. Of course, there were also clans that had fallen into decline for various reasons, like the once mighty Uchiha clan, which had dominated the Hidden Leaf but ultimately faced annihilation. The other class, which Qianlong referred to as cannon fodder, consisted of talented individuals selected from across the great nations and gathered in the Hidden Leaf for training and further selection, ultimately becoming ninjas who often led the charge in battle. Among them were exceptional figures, the most renowned being the fourth Hokage, Minato Namikaze, who had risen from an ordinary ninja to become the youngest Hokage in history, a remarkable feat indeed. I am a good person. It would be best if you remain silent. If you do speak, I would feel reluctant to harm you. As he spoke, Qianlong began to loosen the girl's cloak, gradually unbuttoning her top, one button, then two. Stop. No. Black Earth attempted to struggle, but her body remained paralyzed, and she could not rise to defend herself. There is no need for such a futile sacrifice. Are you not just a ninja from the land of Earth? Observing Black Earth's astonished expression as she locked eyes with him, Qianlong realized he had struck a chord. How do you know? She asked, astonished, confirming his insight. In truth, I remain unaware of their true identities. However, during my recent encounter with the corpulent Sandrock, his Earth Shield Jutsu exhibited formidable prowess, rivaling that of a Jonin. According to the intelligence system of Iwagakure, such exceptional mastery of Earth Shield Jutsu is typically associated with the Iwagakure of the land of Earth, as each major ninja village possesses its own specialized jutsu system. If you have something to convey, I suggest you speak swiftly, otherwise, the other ninjas from Konoha will soon arrive to offer their support, and they will not allow your escape. You may find it too late to articulate your thoughts. Should your garments be forcibly removed, it would not be merely my handsome visage that you would be exposed to, but rather the gaze of all present. I cannot dictate their treatment of you, and you should be well aware of the fates that befall enemies at the hands of various ninja villages. Qianli did not respond to Kurotsuchi's inquiry. Instead, he continued to assault her psychological defenses. No, please, Kurotsuchi interjected anxiously as Qianli unfastened the third button of her attire. Qianli felt a surge of triumph. If she remained obstinate in her silence, he would have little recourse. Should the ninjas of Konoha arrive, they would likely hand her over to the skilled interrogator, Marino Ibiki. However, after the interrogation, it was likely that she would be rendered useless. If she were a remorseless villain, there would be little grief in that outcome. But this young girl appeared to be an ordinary ninja, likely experiencing her first taste of battle. Qianli could not bear to subject her to such a fate. Despite having endured many hardships in life, Qianli was not devoid of compassion. Rather, he felt a profound sense of pity and sympathy for others. He harbored a deep disdain for those who prey upon the weak or inflict suffering upon them. Will you truly allow me to leave? Kurotsuchi asked. Enough of your idle chatter. Should you deceive me and I discover your treachery, I will strip you bare and reveal your unclothed form to all. I am a ninja from Iwagakure. My name is Kurotsuchi. We have received a mission to infiltrate Konoha and steal the sealing scroll, with our contact being the Chunin instructor. Mizuki, how did you come to know of the sealing scroll? Moreover, how did you manage to establish contact with Mizuki? Qianli queried, perplexed. The ninjas of Konoha are renowned for their discipline and would never betray their village or nation. Of course, this is not an absolute certainty. After all, no realm is devoid of malefactors. Nevertheless, the ninjas of Konoha typically operate in teams, holding one another accountable, a mechanism that greatly ensures the loyal execution of their various missions. It was a Konoha ninja in white attire who sent us. After retrieving the sealing scroll, we were to deliver it to him. A Konoha ninja? Who is he? This cannot be true. Furthermore, why would you agree to such demands? It is indeed a considerable sacrifice, and no one acts without the promise of gain. It is indeed a Konoha ninja, representing the daimyo of the land of fire. However, I do not know his identity. He wore a flame mask, and his green cloak bore the insignia of the land of fire. Beneath, he donned the white attire of a ninja, adorned with the yellow symbol of Konoha. He instructed us to return the scroll to him in exchange for the transfer of all rights of the land of rice to the land of earth. The western region of the land of earth is arid and barren, while the grain and taxes of the land of rice are coveted by the land of earth. Thus we consented to this transaction. The attire belongs to the elite guards of the feudal lord of the land of fire, a private militia comprised predominantly of Konoha's top Jonin, many of whom have emerged from the ranks of the Umbu training corps. Their true appearances remain shrouded in mystery, for they pledge their loyalty solely to the feudal lord. What could be the purpose of their dealings? What need do they have for the Book of Seals? Questions swirled in Qianliang's mind, growing increasingly perplexing. The land of rice, nestled between the land of fire and the land of no soil, boasts fertile lands that yield abundant rice harvests, thus earning its name. It has thrived under the protection of the land of fire and Konoha, enjoying prosperity. Food and wealth are coveted by all nations. With sustenance comes population, and with wealth comes weaponry, for the foundation of military strength, whether for a nation or a ninja village, ultimately rests upon its populace and economy. This is the fundamental reason for great power conflicts. Territorial resources are the ultimate goal. The land of rice is a territory that Konoha sacrificed many shinobi to acquire. To trade it away now would render those sacrifices in vain. You are not deceiving me, are you? Qianliang feigned innocence, pretending to lift the hem of Kurotsuchi's garment. No, absolutely not. I possess Konoha's defense map, given to me by a certain ninja. I speak only the truth. After hearing this, Qianliang eagerly searched Kurotsuchi's embrace for the defense map, taking advantage of the situation, for one must seize opportunities when they arise. Indeed, the detailed defense map of Konoha was present, a classified document unknown even to Qianliang, known only to a select few in Konoha's upper echelons. At that moment, Konoha's shinobi arrived, led by the taijutsu master, Might Guy. This is bad. We've been discovered. Do not speak. Qianliang retracted, readying his chidori. Simultaneously, he invoked summoning jutsu, conjuring a small gorilla clad in deep blue ninja attire with a black belt. Kuro, escort her away without being seen, Qianliang instructed, stowing the defense map and rushing towards Guy. Don't call me Kuro, the gorilla retorted. Understood, let us depart quickly. Ignoring a few choice expletives from the gorilla, Kurotsuchi vanished into the woods. Eyebrow Guy, why did you arrive so late? The enemy has already fled. Your support is far too slow. Though Qianliang appeared to complain, he was actually providing cover for Kurotsuchi to escape swiftly. You see, I told you, our esteemed Qianliang needs no assistance. He single-handedly dealt with all the enemies. Upon arrival, Guy enthusiastically wrapped his arms around Qianliang's neck, exclaiming with fervor, his excitement palpable. Eyebrow Guy was a nickname Qianliang had bestowed upon him, owing to his thick, dark eyebrows and formidable taijutsu prowess. While Guy's innate talent may not have been extraordinary, through diligent training, he had mastered his physical techniques to an exceptional degree, a rarity in the ninja world. If Qianliang's taijutsu were likened to that of an elementary schooler, then Guy would surely be the reigning boxing champion. Hey, I can't breathe. Let me go? Qianliang gasped, nearly suffocating under Guy's exuberant grip. My apologies. As Konoha's azure beast, I am ever ablaze with the fire of youth. Let us ignite our beautiful youth together. As he spoke, his excitement surged, nearly bringing him to tears. With a series of sharp clicks, I find myself indifferent to your youthful exuberance. It feels as if autumn has descended upon us, sending shivers down my spine. Henceforth, I request you maintain a distance of 2 meters when conversing with me. Qianliang coughed a few times, voicing his grievances to Kai before he began retracing his steps towards Konoha. Following a night of fierce combat, the dawn was approaching, and fatigue clung to them like a shadow. On their way back, Kai rambled incessantly, his words echoing in the air like a relentless stream. Yet, Qianliang was lost in contemplation, pondering his dialogue with Kurotsuchi and the tactical map of Konoha cradled in his hands, his thoughts a tempest of uncertainty. His gaze oscillated between focus and bewilderment as he meticulously calculated their next moves. Kai's chatter seemed to float past him, failing to penetrate his inner world. In this moment, Qianliang bore the weight of profound secrets and responsibilities, with an uncertain path ahead filled with challenges as dawn approached. In the Hokage's office, the atmosphere was grave and attentive. Qianlong stood before the assembly, methodically recounting the events of the previous night. He began with each heart-stopping detail of the battle, the fierce clashes and tense standoffs vividly reenacted in the minds of the listeners. He then recalled his conversation with Kurotsuchi, every word and phrase laden with significance and suspense. Most critically, he elucidated the conspiracy of the Fire Country's daimyo's guards, clearly conveying their intentions and attitudes. Qianlong spoke without reservation, fully aware that the esteemed Jonin of Konoha were trustworthy allies who would never betray their own. Furthermore, he sought to illuminate the daimyo's distrust towards Konoha. His candor provided a more comprehensive understanding of the situation for all present. The Hokage and the Jonin listened intently, their gazes reflecting both trust in Qianlong and concern for the challenges that lay ahead. At this pivotal juncture, unity and trust would become Konoha's formidable weapons against the impending crisis. Qianlong slowly produced the tactical map of Konoha, causing the air to thicken with tension. Is this true? Red was the first to break the silence. Indeed, it is true, the third Hokage replied, his voice trembling. The defensive map of Konoha is known only to a select few at the upper echelons, and it is subject to regular changes. If the enemy possesses the latest version of our defensive layout, it suggests that someone has betrayed us. The third Hokage's conviction was unshakable. In an instant, the emotions of those gathered surged to a crescendo. Shock, fury, and disappointment intermingled in a tumultuous wave. The nation they had so valiantly protected, the land of fire, had betrayed them from behind. The sting of such treachery pierced each heart like a dagger. It dawned upon them that their greatest adversary lurked within the very homeland they held dear, a harsh reality that was difficult to digest. The flames of anger ignited within them, intertwined with deep-seated worry. They understood that the battles ahead would be even more arduous, facing not only external threats, but also vigilant against internal foes. In the face of this adversity, they must unite even more resolutely, steadfast in their convictions to safeguard all that they hold dear. Is this not a betrayal by our own? One pondered aloud. The country we sacrificed our lives to protect has sold us to the enemy. Could it be that there is a traitor within the daimyo's guard? Asma remarked. It is impossible. If there were a traitor within the Umbu, the daimyo would undoubtedly be aware, for they are solely loyal to him. The daimyo has never fully trusted Konoha, repeatedly cutting our funding and personnel. He perpetually perceives Konoha as insufficiently loyal, believing that the formidable ninja strength of Konoha poses a threat to his dominion. Hence, it has been a consistent practice among past daimyo to curtail Konoha's growth. Shikaku analyzed the relationship between the land of fire and Konoha. The bond between the land of fire and Konoha Village is one of mutual dependence, yet fraught with intricate contradictions. Shikaku's observations were astutely accurate. The land of fire is the nation in which Konoha resides, rendering Konoha subordinate to it. Konoha serves as the military force and strategic stronghold of the land of fire. The ninjas of Konoha accept missions entrusted by the daimyo of the land of fire, undertaking various tasks, ranging from combat to protection and intelligence gathering, to safeguard the security and stability of the nation. This represents a facet of their mutual support. Nevertheless, suspicion is inescapable. From the daimyo's perspective, the formidable power of the Konoha ninjas could pose a potential threat to his rule if left unchecked. Therefore, the daimyo may implement measures to restrict or monitor Konoha's strength, such as placing spies or controlling resources to maintain oversight. Conversely, the ninjas of Konoha harbor concerns that the daimyo, driven by political interests, might sacrifice them or divulge the secrets of Konoha to other nations, akin to the enemy acquiring Konoha's defensive plans. The bureaucrat Kakashi, who revels in betraying his compatriots, uttered a complaint, to which the others readily agreed. All right, you all may leave. Do not speak of this matter to anyone, commanded the third Hokage, ushering everyone out. It seemed the third Hokage had already discerned who had leaked the information. As the annual Genin graduation approached, an air of tension and anticipation enveloped the atmosphere. This year, Sasuke, Naruto, and Sakura were assigned to Team 7, led by Kakashi. This was a remarkable intertwining of destinies. These three distinct youths embarked on a journey brimming with challenges and growth. Sasuke, proud and resolute, harbored an unwavering pursuit of power. Naruto, spirited and tenacious, embodied an indomitable spirit akin to a blazing flame. Sakura, intelligent and courageous, consistently demonstrated remarkable decisiveness at critical moments. Kakashi, a mysterious and formidable instructor, would guide them in his unique fashion. The formation of Team 7 resembled a stone cast into a tranquil lake, sending ripples across its surface. Together, they would continually transcend their limitations, facing one unknown challenge after another in each other's company and rivalry. In this summer filled with hope and challenges, their story was only just beginning. Chitaki was hardly cut out for a teaching role. In the absence of missions, he relished a leisurely life in Konoha. The sun bathed the streets of Konoha in warmth and tranquility. Chitaki strolled through familiar alleyways, savoring the gentle caress of the breeze and the melodious songs of birds. He would indulge in delectable snacks from quaint shops and engage amiably with villagers, sharing delightful anecdotes from everyday life. At times, he would visit the training grounds of Konoha, observing the young ninjas diligently honing their skills, reminiscing about his own arduous journey. Alternatively, he would seek a tranquil corner, settling down with a cherished book, immersing himself in the world of words. In Konoha, Qianlong discovered a rare sense of tranquility and comfort, devoid of the tension and brutality of battle. Only the simplicity and beauty of life remained. As Qianlong stepped into the bathing area of Konoha, the enveloping warmth of steam instantly cocooned him. The soothing water flowed around his body, seemingly washing away all fatigue and grime. The gentle hands of the lovely attendants, exerting just the right amount of pressure, glided over his skin, performing a calming massage. Their movements were delicate and tender, each touch conveying a sense of serenity and relaxation. With his eyes closed, Qianlong savored this fleeting moment of bliss. In that instant, the world appeared to fall silent, leaving only the warmth of the bath and the comfort bestowed by the attendants in his heart. His thoughts began to drift away, recalling past experiences while harboring anticipation for the future. In this small sanctuary, Qianlong wholeheartedly enjoyed this peace and beauty. This was what he cherished most. On the other hand, Kakashi found it challenging to relax. Today marked the first day he would lead Team 7, a day laden with responsibility. The bell-snatching entrance exam was about to commence. This was no ordinary test. It would assess the team members' collaboration, strategic planning, and individual capabilities. Kakashi understood the significance of this exam. He intended to instill in Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura the harsh realities of the ninja world and the necessity of teamwork. At this moment, Kakashi wore a serious expression, already contemplating how to guide these three promising yet distinctly different students toward growth during the exam. He recognized that this was not only a trial for his students, but also a challenge to his own teaching abilities. Kakashi felt relatively satisfied with his students' performance. During the bell-snatching battle, Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura initially fought independently, reflecting their naivety. However, as the battle progressed, they began to exhibit glimmers of potential. Sasuke showcased exceptional combat talent and calm judgment, swiftly analyzing the situation during the fight. Naruto displayed tenacity and an indomitable spirit, relentlessly seeking opportunities to seize the bell. Although Sakura's strength was somewhat lacking, she demonstrated bravery and a willingness to prioritize her comrades during critical moments. Ultimately, they grasped the importance of teamwork, revealing their potential to Kakashi. This awakening of team consciousness was a pivotal step toward becoming exemplary ninjas. Overall, Kakashi felt content with their performance and looked forward to their future growth. After several days of intense training, Team 7 finally reached the moment they could accept missions. Initially, Naruto was quite particular, harboring his own ideas and expectations regarding various tasks. However, after some twists and turns, they ultimately received a C-rank mission in the Land of Waves. The client was Mr. Tazuna, a construction worker. The Land of Waves is a small nation devoid of a ninja village, having long suffered from the bullying and oppression of neighboring countries, resulting in a severely underdeveloped economy and infrastructure. Mr. Tazuna aspires to return to the Land of Waves to assist in bridge construction, thereby enhancing the nation's transportation and economic development. The task at hand is to safely escort Mr. Tazuna back to his homeland. For the freshly minted Team 7, this mission is fraught with challenges and uncertainties. The Land of Waves is an unfamiliar territory, and the difficulties they are about to encounter are unpredictable. Yet, it is precisely such a mission that will serve as a pivotal opportunity for their growth. Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura, filled with both anxiety and excitement, embark on their journey to the Land of Waves under Kakashi's guidance. Unbeknownst to them, immense hardships await. but their courage and resolve will be thoroughly tested throughout this endeavor. Unexpectedly, the mission to the Land of Waves profoundly impacts Choji, offering him a newfound perspective on the ninja world. As Team 7 undertakes the task of escorting Dazna back to the Land of Waves, they are ambushed by Zabuza. Zabuza appears before them, poised atop his beheading sword, intent on assassinating Dazna. Kakashi, Naruto, and Sakura form a defensive formation to protect Mr. Dazna, and a fierce battle is imminent. Subsequently, Zabuza employs the hidden mist technique, enveloping the entire area in a thick fog that drastically reduces Team 7's visibility. Concealed within the mist, Zabuza initiates the water clone technique, stealthily infiltrating Team 7's formation to launch an attack, while his true self lurks in the shadows, awaiting the opportune moment. Kakashi and Zabuza engage in a tactical exchange. Kakashi first replicates Zabuza's water clone technique, using his own clone to strike the first of Zabuza's clones. However, Zabuza counters by cutting down Kakashi's clone with another. As Kakashi's true form emerges behind Zabuza's second clone, he successfully shatters it, but Zabuza's original form then appears behind Kakashi, sending him crashing into the water and subsequently ensnaring him with the water prison technique. Believing he has outsmarted Kakashi, Zabuza arrogantly declares that he will deal with him later, choosing instead to focus on Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura. The disparity in strength between a Jonin and a Chunin is monumental. Despite their combined efforts, Sasuke and Naruto are unable to overcome Zabuza's water clones. Yet, Naruto devises a clever strategy, employing the multi-shadow clone technique to confound Zabuza. While his original form transforms into a wind shuriken, hidden within a clone's backpack, the clones then pass the shuriken to Sasuke, who throws both shuriken, only for Zabuza to evade them. Meanwhile, Naruto's transformed shuriken stealthily approaches Zabuza from behind, reverting to its original form to launch a kunai at him. With no other option, Zabuza relinquishes the water prison technique, allowing Kakashi to escape. Once freed, Kakashi activates his Sharingan. In this heightened state, he initially replicates Zabuza's water dragon jutsu, resulting in an evenly matched confrontation. Subsequently, he perfectly mimics Zabuza's movements and hand seals, much to Zabuza's astonishment. In a moment of confusion, Zabuza was ensnared by Kakashi's Jinjutsu, which utilized the Sharingan to present him with an illusion of another self. Alarmed, Zabuza fell victim to Kakashi's swift execution of the waterfall technique, leading to his defeat. However, he was ultimately rescued by Haku. Meanwhile, Kakashi's team took a moment to recuperate while seeking assistance from Konoha. On another front, Chojuro was indulging in the pleasures of a bathhouse, enjoying the company of beautiful maidens, when he received a mission from the Hokage to support Kakashi's team. Reluctantly, he departed from his leisurely pursuits to attend to his duties. As he lazily exited the bathhouse, he realized that the task at hand in the Land of Waves was far from simple. The client, Tazuna, was a bridge builder whose work held paramount importance for the development of the Land of Waves. This nation, devoid of ninja, suffered from dire economic conditions, with its populace living in poverty. Tazuna's ambition to construct a bridge was crucial for enhancing the country's economy and improving the lives of its citizens. Thus, his presence and actions bore significant implications for the future of the Land of Waves, rendering him a target for various factions. Due to financial constraints, Tazuna had only hired low-ranking ninjas for protection, concealing the fact that he was being targeted by other ninjas. In truth, the Land of Waves was under the control of the nefarious merchant, Gato. To thwart Tazuna's efforts in completing the bridge, Gato employed ninjas to assassinate him. This severely underestimated the dangers that Team 7 would face during their mission. Zabuza Momochi, a rogue ninja from the Hidden Mist Village, was notorious as the Demon of the Mist. He had previously single-handedly slain all the students during a brutal graduation exam that forced them to fight to the death and later participated in a coup to assassinate the Mizuki. As an elite Jonin, he possessed formidable strength, specializing in assassination with powerful water release techniques, far surpassing the abilities and experience of newly minted Chunin like Naruto. Upon reuniting with Kakashi and comprehending the gravity of the situation, Chojuro collaborated with Kakashi to devise a strategy. They decided that Kakashi's team would protect Tazuna, but they would refrain from proceeding directly to their destination. Instead, Chojuro would venture to the Land of Waves for reconnaissance, and they would advance together once he returned. After finalizing their plan, Chojuro set forth towards the Land of Waves. The Land of Waves is a small island nation, geographically limited and relatively resource-poor. Its diminutive size constrains the development potential and resource reserves of the nation. The country is connected to the outside world by only a single bridge, which significantly hampers trade and communication, thereby obstructing its economic growth and international relations. Previously, the nation had been subjugated by a man named Gato, who, while ostensibly the president of a shipping company and one of the world's wealthiest individuals, secretly employed the mafia and ninjas for drug trafficking and smuggling contraband. Through his financial power and violence, he controlled the maritime lifelines of the Land of Waves, thus dominating its wealth, politics, and populace. Economically, the Land of Waves is severely underdeveloped. Due to its small size, limited resources, and inadequate transportation, the nation suffers from extreme poverty, with its citizens lacking sufficient economic resources and industrial support, resulting in a low level of economic development. The economy of the Land of Waves primarily hinges upon a few industries, notably the bridge construction projects undertaken by Dasna, resulting in a rather singular economic structure that lacks a diversified development model. Dasna, as a master bridge builder, embodies the aspirations of the people of the Land of Waves, fervently hoping that the construction of grand bridges will catalyze national economic growth. This ambition inevitably encroaches upon the interests of Kato, prompting the hiring of ninjas to eliminate him, alongside the protective measures from the Hidden Leaf Village. Thus, Chojuro need not engage in superfluous dialogue. He can directly approach Kato's residence to glean the truth. According to intelligence, the Land of Waves does not harbor ninjas, but with Zabuza's arrival, the possibility of hiring other mercenaries remains a concern that warrants caution. Upon arriving at Kato's abode, one finds that it sprawls far beyond the dimensions of typical residences, exuding an imposing grandeur. Viewed from a distance, it resembles a miniature fortress, strikingly conspicuous and ostentatious in such a modest nation, a testament to Kato's wealth and influence. The building boasts multiple stories, offering expansive views that enable Kato to survey his surroundings and assert control over the area, imbuing the space with an aura of authority as if he reigns supreme. To safeguard his security and privacy, Kato's residence is fortified with stringent security measures. Towering walls encircle the property, isolating it from the outside world, and barbed wire may adorn the perimeter. A sturdy gate at the entrance restricts access solely to authorized individuals. Furthermore, the premises are patrolled by professional security personnel, vigilant day and night to ensure Kato's safety. It is disheartening to observe that while the impoverished struggle for sustenance, affluent merchants reside in such opulent palaces. The guards, evidently lacking in ninjutsu skills, do not pose a threat that Chojuro finds concerning. He is determined not to raise alarms that might allow Kato to escape. Stealthily infiltrating the castle, Chojuro swiftly locates Kato, who is described as a short, rotund man indulging in delicacies amidst a company of beautiful women. Upon noticing Chojuro's presence, Kato is taken aback. "Who are you and how did you get in?" he inquires, to which Chojuro responds with a smile, slowly advancing towards him. "Do not come any closer." Guards, sensing that Chojuro is no ordinary intruder, Kato's panic escalates as he calls for assistance. "I ask you, are you Kato?" Chojuro queries, disregarding the guards as he throws a few kunai, accurately striking them. The women, terrified, scatter in all directions, while Kato, overwhelmed, collapses to the ground. Chojuro places a foot upon Kato's arm. "Ah, I am Kato. I am Kato," he exclaims, desperately responding, fearing for his life. Under Chojuro's duress, Kato divulges all pertinent information. He had promised Zabuza a substantial reward for his services in assassinating Dasna, recognizing that as a rogue ninja, Zabuza requires financial means to sustain himself and procure resources, thus lured by Kato's extravagant offer. However, unbeknownst to Zabuza, Kato never intended to honor this agreement from the outset. He merely sought to exploit the strength of the likes of Zabuza and other ninjas to eliminate Dasna, a man who posed a threat to his interests. Kato informed Zabuza that Dasna was his commercial rival. The mission would be deemed successful upon Dasna's demise. However, Kato's true intent was to eliminate Zabuza after both he and the Leaf Ninjas had decimated one another. For such a ninja represented an unforeseen peril in the Land of Waves. He desired to seize complete control over the Land of Waves, ensuring it continued to serve as a tool for his illicit gains. The bridge that Dasna was constructing, once completed, would shatter Kato's monopoly on transportation in the region, jeopardizing his profits. Thus, Kato's directive for Zabuza to assassinate Dazna was merely the initial step in solidifying his dominion over the Land of Waves. He further contemplated suppressing the populace post-Dazna's removal, continuing to plunder their wealth. A week later, Zabuza and Haku launched another assault on Team 7 and Dazna. This time, Sasuke found himself pitted against Haku, who possessed the bloodline limit of ice release, while Zabuza continued his confrontation with Kakashi. As the battle commenced, Haku showcased the full extent of his ice release abilities, moving with such swiftness that Sasuke struggled to respond. Haku unleashed the secret technique, demonic mirroring ice crystals, ensnaring Sasuke within a realm of countless ice mirrors. Within this crystalline domain, Haku adeptly maneuvered through the reflections to launch rapid assaults, plunging Sasuke into a dire predicament. Amidst the clash, Sasuke endeavored to adapt to Haku's rhythmic onslaught. At a critical moment, he awakened his own bloodline limit, the Sharingan, one eye adorned with two tomo. In this heightened state, Sasuke could not only perceive Haku's lightning-fast movements within the mirrors, but also provide cover for the gravely injured Naruto. Upon discerning the Sharingan's vulnerability, Zabuza employed his mist technique to obscure his form and closed his eyes to avert the onset of Jinjutsu. He relied on sound to ascertain Kakashi's position, attempting to counter Kakashi's advantage with the Sharingan. Although obscured by the fog, Kakashi summoned a ninja hound, which, guided by its keen sense of smell, tracked Zabuza's scent and latched onto his person, forcing Zabuza into a defensive position. At a pivotal juncture in the battle, Kakashi resolved to conclude it with Raikiri. Just as Raikiri was about to strike Zabuza, Haku intervened, attempting to shield Zabuza from Kakashi's assault, fulfilling his role as a tool. A wall of earth materialized between Kakashi and Zabuza, effectively separating the two. Haku was also obstructed by this earthen barrier. "You have been deceived, Zabuza. Kato is merely using you," said Chojuro, as all eyes turned to him. Just in time, Chojuro arrived to separate the combatants, and at that moment, Zabuza's mist technique began to dissipate. "Kakashi, are you alright?" Chojuro inquired, approaching Kakashi, who bore injuries from the recent conflict, and noted that Raikiri had depleted his chakra. "You arrived just in time. Had you been any later, I might have been finished," Kakashi responded. "Heh, the renowned copy ninja of Konoha, Kakashi Hatake. How could you be so easily defeated?" Chojuro remarked as he gathered Kakashi, Naruto, and Sakura together. "Sakura, tend to their wounds. The next phase is up to me." Qianlong advanced towards Zaibujan. "Who are you, and why did you save me?" Kakashi's ninja dog also lifted its control, as by assisted Zaibujan to the side. "I am Qianlong from Konoha. My intention was not to save you, but to prevent you from being exploited by unscrupulous merchants, unaware of your plight. It would be quite simple to eliminate you now, Zaibujan, for you possess a certain notoriety. I merely wish to thwart the merchant schemes. You may inquire further from him." Qianlong pointed at Cardo, whom he had cast aside. Cardo, already terrified, recounted the events. Zaibujan threatened to sever Cardo's head. "Please, spare me. I had no choice. Others compelled me to act thus," Cardo pleaded in panic. "Who commanded you?" Zaibujan interrogated. "I cannot disclose that. Revealing it would lead to my demise. If you kill me, I will remain silent." Without further ado, Zaibujan executed Cardo. Qianlong, while harboring a disdain for such despicable individuals, was nonetheless intrigued by Cardo's final words, for he was, in essence, the true ruler of this nation. Who could possibly control him? Following this incident, the downfall of Cardo's influence alleviated the crisis in the Land of Waves. Master Bridge Builder Dazna resumed his work, and with the assistance of Team 7, the bridge was ultimately completed. This bridge held tremendous significance for the economic development of the Land of Waves and its relations with the outside world, heralding a hopeful future. However, the events did not conclude there. In a desolate valley, the atmosphere grew stiflingly tense. Zaibujan and Bai stood back to back, confronted by the advancing guards of the Land of Fire. Each guard wore a stern expression, their weapons glinting menacingly. "Zaibujan, today you shall find no escape," bellowed the captain of the guards, prompting an immediate assault formation. Zaibujan gripped his beheading sword tightly, his eyes filled with resolve. Bai formed hand seals, ready to unleash his ninjutsu at any moment. The battle erupted instantaneously, as Zaibujan charged at the enemy like a fierce tiger, his blade flashing, causing the guards to evade. Bai unleashed his ice release technique, sending a barrage of ice projectiles towards the guards. However, the guards, being numerous and well-trained, coordinated seamlessly, employing fire release and lightning release techniques in relentless succession. Zai Bujan and Bai gradually found themselves in dire straits, their wounds accumulating. After an arduous confrontation, Zai Bujan, drained of strength, collapsed to the ground. He gazed at Bai, his eyes filled with sorrow. Bai, heartbroken, fought desperately against the guards, sustaining grievous injuries. Just as the guards prepared to deliver the final blow to Bai, Qianlong, concealed in the shadows not far away, observed the battlefield with a heart brimming with anxiety and fury. Once again, it was the guards of the Land of Fire. Qianlong did not return to Konoha, instead feigning a delay in his return to protect the bridge construction in the Land of Waves, allowing Kakashi and Team 7 to return to Konoha to recuperate. Upon seeing the guards raise their weapons, poised to strike Bai, Qianlong recognized that the moment to act had arrived. Like a wraith, he sprang from the shadows. Appearing instantly before Bai, the guards, startled by his sudden emergence, quickly regained composure and aimed their weapons at him. "Who are you? How dare you obstruct our mission?" The captain of the guards bellowed. You remained silent, merely casting a cold, murderous glare at them. It turned out that the individual whom Cardo referred to as being under control was none other than the Lord of the Fire Nation, embroiled in sordid dealings. Cardo was indeed under the influence of the Fire Nation's Lord, the true architect of the plight of the people of the Wave Country. As the battle loomed, the captain was the first to strike, unleashing a fire-style ninjutsu that sent a massive inferno hurtling towards you. Swiftly, Chitaki formed seals and countered with a water-style ninjutsu, erecting a towering wall of water that extinguished the flames. The clash of water and fire generated an abundance of steam, enveloping the battlefield. Seizing the cover of the mist, the guards charged forward, some wielding swords, others brandishing ninja tools, launching a fierce assault against Chitaki. Unfazed, you summoned a wind-style ninjutsu, unleashing a powerful gale that sent the guards reeling. Subsequently, Chitaki invoked lightning-style ninjutsu, bolts of electricity arcing from your fingertips and incapacitating several guards in an instant. Witnessing Chitaki's formidable prowess, the guards swiftly altered their strategy, splitting into smaller groups to attack from various angles. Chitaki remained composed, continuously employing an array of ninjutsu to engage in fierce counterattacks with the guards. Amidst the fray, Chitaki detected several guards attempting to flank you from behind. A surge of urgency gripped Chitaki, prompting the immediate use of the shadow clone technique, creating multiple clones to intercept the guards. The battle escalated to a fever pitch, with Chitaki and the guards unleashing their full capabilities, the brilliance of ninjutsu illuminating the battlefield. In that moment, Chitaki discerned a vulnerability in the captain's defense. Swiftly, Chitaki executed earth-style ninjutsu, emerging from beneath the ground to confront the captain from behind. The captain, filled with terror, turned in vain, for it was too late. Chitaki delivered a powerful punch to his chest, sending him hurtling through the air. The remaining guards, witnessing their captain's defeat, were thrown into disarray. Chitaki seized the opportunity to execute a formidable earth-style shield technique, repelling them all. As the battle concluded, Chitaki rushed to Bai's side, lifting him and departing the battlefield. In a tranquil cave, Bai slowly regained consciousness, his eyes vacant and filled with despair. "Let me die. I wish to join Zabuza," Bai murmured weakly. You gazed at Bai, your heart brimming with compassion. "Bai, Zabuza is gone, but your life is not over. He would perhaps wish for you to live fully, to seek out your own path." Bai remained silent, tears streaming down his face. "You possess such immense power. You should not live solely for another. This world is vast, teeming with beauty awaiting your discovery." You continued to persuade him. After a prolonged moment of contemplation, Bai finally nodded slowly. "Perhaps you are right. I should begin anew." From that day forward, Bai embarked on a new journey. He was no longer the mere tool living for others, but a courageous individual pursuing his own destiny. Back in Konoha, Kakashi lay injured in the hospital, while you stood in the Hokage's office, brow furrowed, your expression a portrait of reluctance. The third Hokage, Hiruzen Sarutobi, sat resolutely behind his desk, his gaze fixed upon you. "I cannot accept this task, Hokage-sama," you articulated with unwavering conviction. "I have my own affairs to attend to and no time to assume the role of a teacher." The third Hokage let out a faint sigh. "I understand your reluctance. But Kakashi is injured and hospitalized. Team 7 cannot be without a sensei. Your remarkable prowess and combat experience make you the most suitable candidate." You shook your head. "Hokage-sama, I do not believe I am fit to be a teacher. I am accustomed to solitude and lack the ability to instruct others. Rising from his seat, the third Hokage approached you. I have faith in your capabilities. The members of Team 7 possess immense potential. They require a capable mentor to guide them. You can assist in their growth and help them become exceptional ninjas. You remained silent for a moment, your heart still filled with resistance. Yet, confronted with the expectations of the third Hokage, you found it difficult to refuse. Very well, Hokage-sama. I shall temporarily take on the role of Team 7's teacher. But once Kakashi recovers, I will resign immediately. You conceded with a sense of resignation. The third Hokage beamed with satisfaction. I am confident you will excel. Now, go meet the members of Team 7. As you exited the Hokage's office, a heavy weight settled upon your heart. You were uncertain of your ability to fulfill this task and unsure of how to engage with the children of Team 7. However, having already acquiesced to the third Hokage, you resolved to do your utmost. With reluctant steps, you departed the Hokage's office, your mind rife with uncertainty and unwillingness. You could not fathom why the third Hokage had chosen you to lead Team 7. You had always thrived in solitude and never envisioned yourself teaching a group of inexperienced children. As you walked through the streets of Konoha, your thoughts wandered far and wide. You reminisced about your past battles, the fierce confrontations, and the life-and-death moments, which stood in stark contrast to the pedagogical responsibilities awaiting you. You were at a loss as to how to relate to these children, and even more so about how to impart your combat wisdom to them. Arriving at the hospital, you stood outside Kakashi's room, peering through the window at the figure lying on the bed. A torrent of complex emotions surged within you, a blend of concern for Kakashi's injury and the immense pressure of the responsibilities you were about to undertake. Taking a deep breath, you pushed the door open and entered the room. Kakashi slightly opened his eyes, a faint smile gracing his lips upon seeing you. It seems Hokage-sama has entrusted Team 7 to you, Kakashi said weakly. You nodded with resignation. I did not wish to accept this task, but there is no alternative. Focus on your recovery. Kakashi regarded you with a glimmer of trust in his eyes. I believe you will manage well. The children of Team 7 possess great potential. They need a good teacher to guide them. You remained silent for a moment. I will do my best. However, I truly do not know if I am capable. After leaving the hospital, you resolved to meet the members of Team 7. You understood that this would be a challenging beginning. Yet you had no choice but to face it head-on. When he arrived at the training ground of Team 7, Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura regarded him with curious expressions. Qianlong cleared his throat, attempting to adopt a more serious demeanor. From this moment forth, I shall be your temporary instructor. I understand that you may harbor doubts about my capabilities, yet in the days to come, I shall endeavor to impart my knowledge to you, Qianlong stated. Naruto, ever the eager one, jumped forward and exclaimed, Are you really as formidable as Kakashi-sensei? Qianlong furrowed his brow slightly. My abilities are not to be questioned. However, my teaching methods may differ from Kakashi's. Be prepared for challenges ahead. Sasuke, with an indifferent gaze, watched Qianlong, expressing his hope that he would not disappoint them. Sakura stood nervously to the side, uncertain of what to say. Observing the trio's distinct personalities, Qianlong felt a wave of resignation wash over him. Yet he was acutely aware that having promised the third Hokage, he must shoulder this responsibility. The forthcoming days would present a significant challenge for both Qianlong and the members of Team 7. Looking at Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura, Qianlong recognized the weight of his new role, even amidst his reluctance. Naruto's eyes sparkled with excitement as he shouted, Qianlong-sensei, do you possess jutsu as impressive as Kakashi-sensei's? Please, show us. Qianlong frowned and replied sternly, Ninjutsu is not for ostentation. You will witness its application in due time. Sasuke, arms crossed, scoffed, Humph. I hope you are not merely a facade. Qianlong shot a glance at Sasuke, challenging him. Feel free to test me and discover whether I am merely a facade. Sasuke's eyes gleamed with determination, eager to engage. Sakura, anxiously observing the two, quickly interjected, Wait, everyone. Let us not be so impulsive. Qianlong-sensei, we will surely learn diligently from you. Qianlong nodded slightly. That is to be hoped. Now, we will commence physical training, 20 laps around the training ground. Upon hearing this, Naruto's face fell. What? That many? Qianlong regarded him with a stern look. This is merely the beginning. To become excellent ninjas, one must possess formidable physicality. Reluctantly, the trio began their run. After several laps, Naruto fell behind, panting and exclaiming, Qianlong-sensei, I can't keep going. Qianlong remained unmoved, insisting, "Persevere. This is your trial." Though Sasuke also found it taxing, he gritted his teeth, unwilling to appear weak in front of Qianlong. Sakura motivated herself internally, striving to keep pace with Sasuke. After the training concluded, the three collapsed on the ground in exhaustion. Qianlong looked at them and spoke slowly. "This is merely the first step. Future training will be even more grueling. However, as long as you persist, you shall see continuous improvement." Naruto, feebly, remarked, "Qianlong-sensei, you're rather strict." Qianlong replied coolly, "In actual combat, the enemy will show no mercy." As time passed, Qianlong and the members of Team 7 gradually grew accustomed to one another. On one occasion, while undertaking a minor mission, they encountered some difficulties. Naruto impulsively sought to charge in to resolve the issue, but was halted by Qianlong. Calmly, Qianlong analyzed the situation and devised a plan. Under the guidance of Qianlong, they successfully accomplished their mission. Upon its conclusion, Naruto scratched his head, feeling a bit embarrassed as he said, "Qianlong-sensei, you truly are impressive. I shall heed your words more in the future." Sasuke nodded slightly, acknowledging Qianlong's capabilities. Sakura, with a smile, remarked, "Qianlong-sensei, our teamwork is becoming increasingly harmonious." As Qianlong observed them, a sense of comfort surged within him. In the tranquil ambience of Konoha, sunlight filtered through the gaps in the leaves, casting dappled shadows upon the ground. At that moment, Qianlong stood within the Hokage's office, listening attentively to the third Hokage, Sarutobi Hiruzen, as he outlined a new mission. "Qianlong, this mission is of utmost importance. You are to lead Team 7 in escorting a distinguished envoy to a neighboring nation for peace negotiations. This not only concerns the relationship between our two countries, but also the stability of the entire region." The third Hokage's gaze was filled with expectation and trust. Qianlong furrowed his brow slightly. Though reluctant, he understood the gravity of the task. He nodded quietly and replied, "Rest assured, Hokage-sama, I shall do my utmost to fulfill this mission." After departing from the Hokage's office, Qianlong arrived at the assembly point for Team 7. Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura were already awaiting his arrival, their faces alight with anticipation and excitement. Upon seeing Qianlong, Naruto eagerly inquired, "Qianlong-sensei, what is the mission this time? It must be thrilling." Qianlong cast a stern glance at him and replied, "This mission involves escorting a significant envoy to a neighboring country for peace negotiations. It is a matter of great seriousness and cannot be taken lightly. You must all remain vigilant." Sasuke silently checked his weapons, his eyes betraying a hint of cold determination. Sakura stood anxiously beside them, her hands clasped tightly together. Qianlong sighed inwardly as he regarded them. He knew that while these three children possessed immense potential, they might still lack sufficient experience and strength when confronted with genuine danger. Yet, he also recognized this as a crucial opportunity for their growth. "Very well. Let us set forth," Qianlong declared. They embarked on their journey, proceeding cautiously along the way. Naruto chattered incessantly, brimming with curiosity and enthusiasm, while Sasuke remained silent, ever alert to their surroundings. Sakura trailed closely behind, her heart racing with tension. They traversed dense forests and rugged mountain paths, encountering minor troubles that were adeptly resolved under Qianlong's leadership. However, as they entered an even thicker forest, an unsettling sensation crept into Qianlong's heart. He sensed that the atmosphere around them was somewhat off. "Everyone, be cautious. There may be danger here," Qianlong murmured. Immediately, Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura heightened their vigilance, scanning their surroundings anxiously for any impending threats. Suddenly, a group of enigmatic ninjas emerged from all directions, clad in black robes and masked, rendering their identities unrecognizable. They swiftly encircled Team 7, and the leader of the ninjas sneered, "Hand over the envoy, or none of you shall escape alive." Qianlong observed them with a calm demeanor and spoke slowly, "Do you truly believe you can succeed in this manner? How naive." With that, he swiftly formed hand seals, and a formidable chakra emanated from his being. Qianlong unleashed his signature ninjutsu, the Flame Dragon Destruction. A colossal fire dragon roared forth from his hands, charging toward the adversaries. Wherever the fiery dragon passed, trees were instantly reduced to ashes, and the ground became searing hot. The enemies gazed in terror at the flaming dragon and hastily employed various ninjutsu to defend themselves. However, the might of Qianlong's Flame Dragon Destruction was overwhelming. Their techniques were utterly futile against it. The fire dragon effortlessly breached their defenses, scattering them in disarray. Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura were left in awe of Qianlong's immense power. Naruto exclaimed with excitement, "Teacher Qianlong, you are incredible." Sasuke displayed a look of admiration, while Sakura gazed at Qianlong with unabashed adoration. Yet, the foes did not concede defeat so easily. They swiftly regrouped and launched another assault on Team 7. This time, their attack was even more ferocious. They unleashed a multitude of potent ninjutsu, intertwining elements of fire, lightning, and storms to forge a formidable offensive force. Qianlong analyzed the enemy's onslaught with composure, recognizing that his strength alone might not suffice to repel their assault. He would need to rely on the members of Team 7 to collectively confront this crisis. Naruto, Sasuke, Sakura, heed my command, Qianlong instructed. Naruto, use the shadow clone technique to draw their attention. Sasuke, take the opportunity to strike from the flanks. Sakura, you are responsible for protecting the messenger. The three immediately acted upon Qianlong's directives. Naruto executed the shadow clone technique, creating dozens of clones that charged toward the enemy. The foes were bewildered by Naruto's clones, unable to discern which was the true Naruto. Sasuke seized the moment to launch a flank attack, employing lightning-based ninjutsu to strike the adversaries with bolts of electricity. The enemies fell to the ground, incapacitated by Sasuke's lightning. Meanwhile, Sakura remained steadfastly by the messenger's side, ready to deploy healing ninjutsu for any injured comrades. Under Qianlong's leadership, Team 7 engaged in a fierce battle against their foes. They coordinated seamlessly, leveraging their individual strengths to gradually gain the upper hand. However, the adversaries were not willing to accept defeat. They once again unleashed a powerful ninjutsu, and a shroud of dark energy enveloped the battlefield. Qianlong sensed the formidable nature of this dark power. He realized it was an exceedingly perilous ninjutsu. If not addressed promptly, they could all find themselves in grave danger. Qianlong swiftly contemplated a countermeasure. He recalled a sealing technique he had once studied, which might prove effective against this dark force. Forming hand seals once more, he chanted an incantation. A beam of light shot forth from his hands, gradually taking the shape of a massive sealing emblem. Sealing technique, emblem of light. Qianlong proclaimed loudly. The sealing emblem rapidly expanded, enveloping the dark power within its grasp. Under the influence of the sealing technique, the dark energy was gradually diminished, ultimately vanishing from sight. Upon witnessing the unraveling of their most formidable ninjutsu, despair engulfed the enemies. They came to the grim realization that their mission was doomed to failure. Consequently, they each opted for retreat. Team 7 successfully repelled the adversaries, safeguarding the envoy. They resumed their journey with heightened vigilance. After several arduous days of travel, they finally reached the neighboring nation. The envoy conducted peace negotiations with success, contributing significantly to the stability and harmony between the two countries. With the mission accomplished, they commenced their return journey. On the way back, Qianlong gazed at Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura, his heart brimming with emotion. These three youths exhibited remarkable courage and potential throughout the mission. They collaborated seamlessly, confronting various dangers together. Although they still had much to learn, their growth was undeniably evident. In his interactions with Team 7, Qianlong gradually discovered a profound sense of responsibility and fulfillment as a teacher. He began to recognize that he was not merely a powerful ninja, but also a mentor capable of guiding the younger generation toward growth. Upon returning to Konoha, Qianlong reported the mission's outcomes to the third Hokage, who praised their performance highly. Qianlong, you have done exceptionally well. The members of Team 7 have also showcased outstanding abilities. I am confident that under your guidance, they will continue to grow stronger. The third Hokage remarked. Qianlong nodded slightly, his heart swelling with pride. He understood that both he and the members of Team 7 had a long journey ahead. Yet they had already taken a significant step forward. From that point onward, Qianlong dedicated himself even more earnestly to instructing the members of Team 7. He imparted his battle experience and ninjutsu techniques to them, aiding in their continuous improvement. Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura also intensified their study and training. They recognized that only through relentless self-improvement could they become truly exceptional ninjas and contribute more significantly to the protection of Konoha and the peace of the world. Under Qianlong's guidance, Team 7 gradually evolved into a formidable ninja squad. In the days to come, they would face numerous challenges and adversities. Yet they would also grow increasingly strong and courageous. After successfully completing the mission with Team 7, Qianlong returned to Konoha. Despite the intensity of the recent battle, his spirit remained somewhat taut, as he felt a mix of helplessness regarding his role as Team 7's teacher. Nevertheless, he could not deny that through his interactions with these children, he had witnessed their potential and development. The days following his return to Konoha were initially marked by tranquility. Each morning, Qianlong would engage in simple training routines at his residence to attune himself. His abode was a modest courtyard, featuring an ancient tree whose leaves danced gently in the breeze, producing a soft rustling sound. One day, after concluding his training as usual, he prepared to head to the Hokage building to report on the follow-up of certain tasks. Just as he stepped out of the courtyard, he encountered Naruto, who approached him with exuberance. "Good morning, Teacher Qianlong. When will we have another mission?" he exclaimed with enthusiasm. Qianlong furrowed his brow and replied, "Missions do not occur every day. You should devote more time to your training." Naruto scratched his head and chuckled. "Got it, Teacher Qianlong. But training can be rather tedious. Tasks are much more thrilling." Qianlong shook his head helplessly and continued on his way to the Hokage building. On the path to the Hokage building, Qianlong encountered Sakura. Sakura politely greeted him. "Hello, Teacher Qianlong. Are you headed to the Hokage building?" Qianlong nodded. "Yes, I have some matters to report." After a moment's hesitation, Sakura added, "Teacher Qianlong, I would like to inquire about some medical ninjutsu issues, if that is all right." Noticing the earnestness in Sakura's eyes, Qianlong felt a slight stir in his heart and replied, "Very well, let us discuss it once I return from the Hokage building." Sakura beamed with joy. "Thank you, Teacher Qianlong." Upon arriving at the Hokage building, Qianlong reported the details of the mission to the third Hokage. After listening, the third Hokage nodded in satisfaction. "Qianlong, you have done exceptionally well. Team 7 is thriving under your guidance." Qianlong paused for a moment before responding, "Hokage-sama, I still feel that I am not quite suited to be a teacher." The third Hokage chuckled. "Do not be so modest, Qianlong. Your strength and experience are invaluable to the children of Team 7. I believe you will gradually adapt to this role." Qianlong sighed in resignation, choosing not to elaborate further. After exiting the Hokage building, Qianlong returned to his residence. Sakura had been waiting at the door and rushed forward upon seeing him. "Teacher Qianlong, you're back. May I ask you my questions now?" Qianlong nodded and led Sakura to the courtyard. He patiently answered her inquiries regarding medical ninjutsu and offered her some training advice. Sakura listened intently, nodding occasionally. At that moment, Naruto came running over. "Teacher Qianlong, what are you two up to?" he asked with curiosity. Feeling slightly embarrassed, Sakura replied, "I'm asking Teacher Qianlong about medical ninjutsu." Naruto's eyes lit up. "Medical ninjutsu? That sounds amazing. Teacher Qianlong, please teach me too." Qianlong shot him a disapproving glance. "You should first master the fundamental ninjutsu before that." Naruto drooped his head. "All right then." As the days passed, Qianlong's life began to change gradually. He no longer resisted being the teacher of Team 7 as he once did. Instead, he started to take an active interest in the children's growth. He regularly arranged training tasks for them and personally guided their practice. One day, Qianlong took Team 7 to a forest for practical training. Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura were all visibly excited, eager to showcase their abilities. Qianlong observed them and said seriously, "For this practical training, you will be divided into two groups for a confrontation. Naruto and Sakura will be one group, while Sasuke will be on his own. During the battle, you must fully utilize your strengths and cooperate with each other." The three nodded and quickly formed their respective groups. The battle commenced, with Naruto charging forward first, using the shadow clone technique to create dozens of clones that rushed towards Sasuke. Sasuke remained calm, observing Naruto's movements. As Naruto approached, Sasuke unleashed his lightning release ninjutsu, striking down bolts of lightning toward Naruto. Naruto swiftly evaded, simultaneously dispersing his shadow clones to launch attacks on Sasuke from various directions. Sakura, on the sidelines, sought an opportunity. She employed her medical ninjutsu to treat minor wounds for both herself and Naruto. At the same time, she keenly observed Sasuke's weaknesses, preparing to deliver a decisive blow. The battle raged fiercely, with neither side yielding an inch. Watching from a distance, Qianlong nodded inwardly, recognizing the progress the children had made and their growth in combat. Suddenly, an unforeseen incident occurred. While dodging Sasuke's attack, Naruto inadvertently collided with a tree, resulting in a sizable bump on his head. He yelped in pain, exclaiming, "Ouch, that hurts." Sakura rushed over to attend to his injury, while Sasuke seized the opportunity to strike, unleashing a bolt of lightning towards them. Observing this, Qianlong immediately intervened to thwart Sasuke's attack. The battle concluded. Qianlong remarked, "Naruto, you're injured. Continuing the fight would be perilous." Naruto, rubbing his head, defiantly replied, "But I haven't lost yet, Teacher Qianlong." Qianlong shot him a stern glance and stated, "You performed admirably today, but certain issues have surfaced. Upon returning, you must reflect and continue your training." The trio nodded, feeling a mix of reluctance and understanding of Qianlong's wisdom. Upon returning to Konoha, Naruto remained dissatisfied with his performance during the practical training. Determined to improve, he resolved to train even harder to prove himself in the next battle. Thus, he rose early each day to practice at the training ground. One day, he encountered Qianlong there. Observing Naruto's diligent efforts, Qianlong felt a sense of gratification. He approached Naruto and said, "I see your dedication, Naruto. However, training should not rely solely on brute force. You must master the correct methods." Scratching his head, Naruto replied, "I understand, Teacher Qianlong, but I'm unsure how to proceed." Qianlong smiled. "Come, I shall teach you some training techniques." He began to patiently guide Naruto, instructing him on better chakra control and how to enhance his speed and strength. Naruto listened attentively, frequently posing questions. Under Qianlong's tutelage, Naruto's abilities improved significantly, and he expressed heartfelt gratitude, saying, "Thank you, Teacher Qianlong. I will strive even harder." As time passed, the relationship between Qianlong and the members of Team 7 deepened. They faced numerous challenges together, sharing both joy and growth. Qianlong no longer viewed teaching as a burden, but rather began to relish the experience. One day, Konoha held a grand celebration. The villagers reveled in a joyous atmosphere, laughter and cheer resonating throughout the streets. Enchanted by this spirit, Qianlong decided to take Team 7 to partake in the festivities. Upon hearing the news, Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura were filled with excitement. They donned their finest attire and followed Qianlong to the celebration site. The event featured a myriad of performances and activities, with people singing and dancing, creating a vibrant and lively spectacle. As Naruto caught sight of a stall selling delectable ramen, he hurried over, exclaiming, "Wow, ramen! I must have some." Meanwhile, Sakura and Sasuke were captivated by a stage showcasing ninjutsu performances, standing there, engrossed in the spectacle. Watching them, Chun-Ai smiled warmly. Just then, an unexpected incident occurred. While indulging in his ramen, Naruto accidentally splashed soup onto a bystander. The individual, irate and ready to confront, was swiftly approached by Chun-Ai, who apologized, "I am sorry. My student did not mean to cause this. Allow me to assist you." The person glanced at Chun-Ai and then at Naruto, finally conceding, "Very well. I'll let it slide this time, considering your presence." Grateful, Chun-Ai smiled and led Naruto away from the stall. Feeling somewhat embarrassed, Naruto said, "Chun-Ai sensei, I apologize for causing you trouble." Chun-Ai affectionately ruffled Naruto's hair, reassuring him, "It's all right. Just be more careful next time." After the festivities concluded, Chun-Ai guided the members of Team 7 back to their residence. They gathered in the courtyard, reminiscing about the joyous moments of the day. Naruto exclaimed with excitement, "Today was absolutely delightful. I want more ramen." Sakura chuckled, teasing, "All you think about is ramen." Sasuke, however, silently gazed at the sky, lost in his thoughts. Observing them, Chun-Ai felt a surge of warmth in his heart. He understood that in this world, fraught with challenges and dangers, such tranquil moments were indeed precious. He hoped that these children would continue to grow under his guidance, evolving into truly remarkable ninjas. Chun-Ai, noticing Sasuke's silence and contemplative demeanor, felt a deep sense of empathy and reflection. He recognized that the Uchiha clan massacre had left an indelible scar upon Sasuke's heart, and the hatred for his brother burned within him like an unquenchable flame, perpetually searing his soul. As night fell and the moonlight bathed the courtyard, Chun-Ai approached Sasuke and gently spoke, "Sasuke, I understand your thoughts. The tragedy of the Uchiha clan is a formidable hurdle, but hatred cannot resolve everything." Sasuke shuddered slightly, pain and defiance flickering in his eyes. "Chun-Ai-sensei, you cannot comprehend. My family, my clan, were destroyed by my brother's own hands. How can I possibly let go of this hatred?" Chun-Ai sat down calmly, fixing his serene gaze upon Sasuke. "I understand the power of hatred. It can empower one, yet it can also lead to a loss of self. You are consumed by thoughts of revenge, but have you contemplated what lies beyond that? What will you truly gain? Sasuke clenched his fists tightly, his voice trembling. I only wish for my brother to pay the price for his actions and avenge my family. I care for nothing else. Chunin sighed. Sasuke, hatred will only bring more suffering. Your brother may have had his reasons, and perhaps the situation is not as straightforward as you perceive. Sasuke, filled with fury, interrupted Chunin. No. My brother is a demon. He murdered my parents, annihilated my clan. He must die. Chunin regarded the agitated Sasuke, pausing in silence before continuing. Sasuke, your life should not be shackled by hatred. You have friends, you have dreams. Do not allow hatred to blind your eyes, causing you to overlook what is truly significant. A flicker of hesitation crossed Sasuke's gaze, yet it was soon overshadowed by his animosity. Kakashi-sensei, I understand your intentions are for my benefit. However, my sole desire now is to grow stronger. Only with formidable power can I vanquish my brother and avenge my family. Please, teach me more powerful ninjutsu. Kakashi frowned slightly, replying, Sasuke, strength is not the only solution to your problems. Moreover, an excessive pursuit of power can lead you into peril. Sasuke responded eagerly, I fear no danger. I am willing to do anything for revenge. Please, Kakashi-sensei. Kakashi gazed into Sasuke's resolute eyes, feeling a sense of helplessness. Very well, Sasuke. But you must remember, power is a double-edged sword. You must learn to wield it with control. From that moment on, Kakashi commenced Sasuke's training in advanced ninjutsu. Sasuke devoted himself tirelessly, immersing himself in the realm of ninjutsu daily, with a singular goal in mind, to defeat Itachi Uchiha and avenge his family. Nevertheless, Kakashi did not cease his attempts to persuade Sasuke to relinquish his hatred. One day, as exhaustion enveloped Sasuke during his training, Kakashi approached him once more. Sasuke, do you understand that hatred only begets endless suffering and devastation? I was once driven by hatred, just as you are. Kakashi's gaze grew distant, seemingly lost in reminiscence. Sasuke paused, quietly observing Kakashi, awaiting his continuation. In my youth, my village was besieged by another force. My parents, relatives, and friends perished in that calamity. In that moment, my heart was consumed by hatred, and I vowed to exact vengeance. I trained relentlessly, ceaselessly seeking out that force. Eventually, I found them and engaged in a fierce battle. Kakashi's voice grew somber, his expression betraying his anguish. In that confrontation, though I succeeded in avenging my kin, I paid a grievous price. I lost many friends and sustained severe injuries. Furthermore, hatred did not dissipate with my revenge. It instead spread further within my heart. I began to grow cold, reclusive, and filled with despair towards this world. Kakashi sighed, looking intently at Sasuke. Sasuke, I do not wish to see you tread the same path I did. Hatred will only ensnare you deeper, leaving you unable to escape. Release your hatred and seek the life that rightfully belongs to you. Kakashi's eyes brimmed with hope. Sasuke remained silent for a long while before finally responding. Kakashi-sensei, your experiences evoke my sympathy. Yet, I am not like you. My enemy is my brother, and I must avenge my family. Kakashi shook his head gently. Sasuke, your brother may have his own reasons. Have you ever considered why he sought to annihilate your clan? Perhaps it was to protect you, or for a greater cause. A flicker of confusion crossed Sasuke's eyes. Impossible. My brother is a monster. He has no justification. Kakashi continued. Sasuke, this world is not merely black and white. Sometimes, individuals commit acts that seem cruel, yet there may be deeper motivations behind them. You should endeavor to comprehend your brother's inner self, rather than harboring unrelenting animosity towards him. Sasuke fell into a contemplative silence. Qianlong's words prompted him to reassess his hatred. However, he soon resolutely declared, regardless of my brother's reasons, he cannot be forgiven for taking the lives of my family. I must seek vengeance. Observing Sasuke's stubbornness, Qianlong felt a sense of helplessness. He understood that hatred had deeply rooted itself within Sasuke's heart, a sentiment not easily eradicated. Yet, he resolved to assist Sasuke in his own way. Sasuke, do you realize that in this world, hatred is not the sole power? There exists another force, known as love. Qianlong's gaze was imbued with tenderness. Sasuke furrowed his brow. Love? All I know now is hatred. I am unfamiliar with what love is. Qianlong smiled gently. Love is a selfless dedication, an embodiment of acceptance and understanding. When you truly love someone, you are willing to sacrifice everything for them, even your own life. Sasuke's heart stirred. He recalled his comrades. Throughout their missions together, he had felt an unprecedented warmth and care. Could this be love? Qianlong, perceiving Sasuke's thoughts, continued, Sasuke, your companions care deeply for you. They wish for you to relinquish your hatred and rediscover your true self. Their love may guide you out of the shadows of animosity. Sasuke fell silent for a moment before responding. Qianlong-sensei, I will ponder your words. Yet for now, I must continue my training in preparation for revenge. Qianlong nodded. Very well. Sasuke, I hope you will soon let go of your hatred and find your true self. As time progressed, under Qianlong's tutelage, Sasuke's strength grew ever greater. Yet, within him, hatred remained unyielding. Until one fateful day, an unexpected incident compelled him to reevaluate his animosity. During a mission, Sasuke and his comrades confronted a formidable adversary, one not only powerful but also ruthless, mercilessly attacking them. In the heat of battle, Sasuke's companions sustained injuries while striving to protect him. Witnessing their wounds filled Sasuke with fury and guilt. Why? Why must you sacrifice so much for me? Sasuke's voice trembled. Because we are comrades. Naruto replied steadfastly, we will not allow you to face danger alone. Sasuke was profoundly moved. In that moment, he grasped the essence of the love Qianlong had spoken of. He felt the concern and affection of his companions, a love that began to erode the hatred within him. After the battle, Sasuke returned to the village, sitting alone in the courtyard, lost in thought. Qianlong approached and sat beside him. Sasuke, have you come to a realization? Qianlong inquired softly. Sasuke remained silent for a moment before responding slowly. Qianlong-sensei, I believe I may have understood something. Hatred cannot resolve everything. Love is the most potent force in this world. Qianlong beamed with a sense of relief. Well done, Sasuke. You have finally begun to relinquish your hatred. Sasuke gazed at Qianlong, his eyes brimming with perplexity. Master Qianlong, why do you persist in urging me to relinquish my hatred? Qianlong's expression grew solemn. Sasuke, it is because I have witnessed the anguish and devastation that hatred brings. I yearn for a world where true peace prevails, devoid of war and animosity. Sasuke furrowed his brow. Yet, this world is rife with conflict and discord. How can we possibly attain genuine peace? Qianlong smiled gently. Sasuke, you must understand that peace is not achieved instantaneously. It requires the efforts of each and every one of us. Only when all individuals cast aside hatred and love, when everyone ceases to act, will the world truly know peace. A jolt ran through Sasuke. He had never contemplated such a notion of peace. In his mind, peace was attained through battle and victory. However, Qianlong's words prompted him to reflect. Perhaps true peace is not something to be won by force. Master Qianlong, your words inspire me greatly. Yet, I still do not comprehend why we must forsake love. Is love not a beautiful emotion? Sasuke inquired. Qianlong elucidated, Sasuke, although love is indeed a beautiful sentiment, it can also bring forth pain and conflict. When we love someone, we worry for them, we give of ourselves, and sometimes, we even sacrifice our own well-being. Such love can cloud our judgment, leading us to make erroneous decisions. Thus, only by releasing our attachment to love can we truly embody selflessness and fairness. Sasuke fell into contemplation, Qianlong's words prompting him to reevaluate his own feelings. He recalled his hatred for his brother and the love his comrades held for him. He suddenly realized that he had been shackled by these emotions, unable to experience true freedom. Master Qianlong, I believe I need some time to reflect, Sasuke stated. Qianlong nodded. Very well, Sasuke. I trust you will uncover your own answers. From that moment onward, Sasuke dedicated himself more fervently to his training, yet his heart was no longer consumed by hatred. He began to focus on his companions, caring for their lives and growth. Throughout this journey, he gradually grasped the true essence of love and peace as articulated by Qianlong. During a mission, Sasuke and his comrades encountered a former foe, one who had once caused them great distress but had since reformed into a benevolent individual. Sasuke regarded this adversary, feeling no hatred, only a sense of forgiveness and understanding. Why do you wish to assist us? Sasuke inquired. Because I have erred in the past, and I seek to atone for my mistakes, the former enemy replied. Moreover, I too aspire for a world of true peace. A stirring occurred within Sasuke. He suddenly comprehended the power of peace that Qianlong had spoken of. In that moment, he experienced an unprecedented tranquility and beauty. Upon completing the mission, Sasuke returned to the village. He sought out Qianlong to express his gratitude. Master Qianlong, Thank you for your unwavering guidance. I now fully comprehend that hatred cannot solve everything. Love and peace are the most formidable forces in this world, Sasuke declared. Qianlong revealed a smile of satisfaction. Well done, Sasuke. You have found your own path. I believe you will become a great ninja, bringing peace to this world. From that moment on, Sasuke was no longer shackled by hatred. He began to wield his strength to protect the world and propagate the ideals of love and peace. Through his efforts, the world gradually transformed into a better place, and people began to abandon their animosities in pursuit of a harmonious future. In the capital of the Land of Fire, within a luxurious palace shrouded in the shadow of conspiracy, corrupt officials gathered in a dimly lit council chamber, their faces etched with scheming and malice. The air thick with tension and oppression. That Qianlong must be driven into an abyss from which there is no return. A portly official pounded the table with fervor, his eyes bulging as if they would unleash fire. His voice echoed through the vast chamber, laden with boundless anger and resentment. Indeed, he has thwarted our plans in the Land of Waves. We must not let him off lightly. A gaunt official echoed his sentiment. Chapter 11. The final choice at the border of the Land of Fire. A solitary figure advanced slowly, Qianlong. His attire bore the marks of wear. His hair danced lightly in the wind, and his face reflected fatigue and the weight of experience. After a long journey, he finally arrived at a tavern in this unfamiliar land. The establishment appeared somewhat antiquated, its wooden sign swaying gently in the breeze, creaking softly. As Qianlong pushed open the door, a melange of aromas, alcohol, tobacco, and various foods assaulted his senses. The tavern was bustling with life, the sounds of laughter, bickering, and clattering dishes intertwined harmoniously. The palace of the Land of Fire's daimyo, shrouded in the embrace of night, resembled a mysterious and imposing fortress. Towering walls, constructed from robust stones, exuded an ancient and dignified aura. Every so often, a bright lantern flickered upon the walls, resembling vigilant eyes observing the surroundings. The grand entrance remained firmly shut, its vermilion surface adorned with golden studs, glimmering faintly in the firelight. On either side of the entrance stood 2 rows of fully armed guards, their posture erect, faces stern, gripping sharp weapons, instilling a sense of formidable pressure. Amidst the chaos, Qianlong stood with an icy gaze, as cold as polar ice. The high-ranking officials stared at him in terror, yet were unable to react in time. Taking a deep breath, Qianlong summoned the chakra within him, preparing to unleash the wind release technique. His hands swiftly formed seals, and the surrounding air seemed to be drawn by an immense force. The wind began to howl, initially a faint whisper, akin to a ghostly murmur, gradually crescendoing into a raging tempest. Qianlong's hair danced wildly in the wind, his eyes gleaming with resolute determination. Wind release, spiraling windstorm. The 3 assailants closed in on me with the ferocity of ravenous wolves, their speed as swift as lightning. The leading vice-captain's eyes widened in alarm as his powerful right arm swung with ferocity, delivering a devastating punch that surged toward my face with the force of a tidal wave. The wind from his fist howling as if it sought to tear apart the very fabric of space. Like a wraith, I swiftly leaned back, narrowly evading this lethal blow capable of shattering mountains and stones. Yet, before I could regain my footing, the second vice-captain's elongated and agile leg shot forth like a cannonball, executing a lightning-fast kick that seemed poised to slice through the air itself. The captain of the guards, devoid of any compassion, ruthlessly dispatched the 2 gravely injured vice-captains with a swift and decisive strike. His gaze was imbued with a ruthless coldness, as if these were not 2 lives that had once fought alongside him, but rather 2 useless pawns to be discarded. This scene left Qianlong utterly astounded. He could scarcely fathom the existence of such a heartless individual. Before Qianlong could recover from his shock, the captain approached him with a stony expression and a sinister glint in his eyes, deliberately stepping forward with a measured yet slow pace, gritting his teeth as he uttered, "You reckless fool! How dare you slay the elite of the Land of Fire?" Qianlong, momentarily taken aback, quickly regained his composure, letting out a cold snort. "I never expected to encounter you here, Uchiha Itachi. Aren't you the one who annihilated the upper echelons of the Land of Fire?" Kisame interjected impatiently from the side. "Enough of the chatter, Qianlong. Join our Akatsuki organization. This is your only path to survival." With unwavering determination in his eyes, Qianlong retorted, "Akatsuki? Humph. I have no interest in that. Itachi regarded Qianlong, speaking slowly. Qianlong, you have now become a rogue ninja, hunted by the world. Only Akatsuki can offer you sanctuary. Not long after Qianlong's induction into Akatsuki, he received his first mission, to seize a heavily guarded mysterious artifact. For this task, he would be executing it alongside Konan. Before their departure, Konan, her expression grave, meticulously outlined the mission details and potential dangers to Qianlong. However, he remained nonchalant, exuding a carefree demeanor as he responded, Sister Konan, there's no need to be so tense. With me around, everything will be fine. Konan shot him a disapproving glance and retorted, be serious. This is no trifling matter. Together, Qianlong and Konan stepped into the ominous location. Having undertaken several missions previously, Qianlong increasingly felt the importance of possessing a reliable weapon. Thus, with a glimmer of hope, he sought out the puppet master, Sasori, within the Akatsuki organization. Standing before Sasori, he nervously stated, Senior Sasori, I feel I lack a powerful weapon in battle. Given your vast collection, could you grant me one? Sasori lifted his gaze, scrutinizing Qianlong with a cold detachment. After a moment, he rose and approached an ancient chest. Retrieving a sharp ninja blade and tossing it to Qianlong, take it, and do not bring shame upon it. In the shadowy recesses, pain lurked within the profound darkness. His Rinnegan eyes emanating a chilling light, as if they could perceive all, while others merely projected illusory images cast by the ghost lantern technique. Konan and Qianlong had truly arrived at this enigmatic gathering place. Pain's deep and imposing voice resonated in the silence. The mission focuses on the land of water. Although we have the Mizuki firmly in our grasp, their brutal regime has incited a fervent rebellion among numerous Jonin and a considerable number of ninjas in the Hidden Mist Village. We must exert our utmost efforts to suppress this uprising to ensure control over the land of water. The Hidden Mist Village, shrouded in perpetual mist, exudes an air of mystery and complexity. The thick fog enveloping the village is not mere water vapor. It is dense as cream and ethereal like gossamer, ebbing and flowing, sometimes coalescing into clusters. Surrounding the village are undulating mountains that loom in the mist, resembling a slumbering giant. The lush vegetation on the mountains, saturated with moisture, droops under the weight, occasionally releasing droplets that produce a crisp sound. In an open area of the land of water, the atmosphere was charged with tension. However, just as Meiterumi's formidable lava release was about to strike Chojuro, he suddenly retracted his exaggerated expression, a hint of a confident smile gracing his lips. With swift hand seals, he uttered, return to origin technique. Instantly, a mysterious force emanated from him, forming an invisible shield. When Meiterumi's lava release met this barrier, it dissipated like snowflakes touched by the warm sun. Meiterumi was taken aback. She had not anticipated that this seemingly playful adversary would possess such power. On a hill in the Hidden Mist Village, Chojuro sat atop, gazing at the sun poised to rise, the scene as breathtaking as a painting. A gentle breeze caressed his hair, and a contemplative glint shone in his eyes. Konan slowly appeared behind him, asking, Chojuro, why did you let the enemy go today? Her voice carried a hint of confusion and reproach. Yet, Chojuro remained unfazed, responding calmly, our mission is to judge, not to indiscriminately slaughter the innocent. Violence does not resolve every issue. He continued, if we could kill at will, what would set us apart from those who have caused me so much suffering? After enduring countless hardships, Meiterumi finally arrived at Iwagakure. Her attire was somewhat tattered, fatigue etched on her face, yet her eyes sparkled with determination and hope. Upon entering the village, she made a beeline for the Hokage Tower, seeking an audience with the third Hokage. Breathless and urgent, she recounted the dire straits facing the land of water. Lord Third Hokage, the land of water is mired in crisis. The tyranny of the Blood Mist Village has plunged our people into suffering. They persistently assassinate key figures from other nations, igniting conflicts and straining international relations. Iwagakure, growing increasingly fierce after prolonged stalemate, resolved to augment his power. With swift hand seals, he intoned incantations, causing the surrounding water elements to become agitated. Water release, water chaos wave. Iwagakure shouted, unleashing a barrage of high-pressure water jets towards Jiraiya. The latter deftly evaded the onslaught. But the jets collided with walls and the ground, erupting in a storm of debris. Not too shabby. Iwagakure let out a cold snort and launched another assault. With his hands in motion, the water flowed under his command, forming a formidable presence. The Akatsuki's plans had faltered, and their scheme to instigate a great power war in the land of water had not come to fruition. They were compelled to temporarily withdraw and continue accepting missions from other nations to bolster their strength. However, the true objective of the Akatsuki remained the tailed beasts. In a clandestine base, Pain spoke with a grim expression, stating that although their operation in the land of water had failed, they must not abandon their quest to collect the tailed beasts. Conan nodded in agreement, affirming that the power of the tailed beasts was indeed the key to achieving their goals. Deidara, appearing somewhat impatient, interjected with disdain. Chitaki found himself lost in reminiscence, his thoughts drifting back to the battlefield shrouded in smoke. At that time, he was but an innocent child, bewildered amidst chaos and peril. Just when he was on the brink of life and death, the third Hokage descended like a deity, rescuing him from the enemy's blades. That broad back became the most steadfast support in his childhood memories. In the days that followed in the Hidden Leaf Village, the third Hokage cared for him with great tenderness. The meticulous attention to his daily needs made him feel the warmth of home. The patient instruction in ninjutsu allowed him to gradually grow stronger. On a summer afternoon, the third Hokage guided him with hands-on teaching. In the forest, the woman whom Chitaki had rescued lay weakly on the ground, her eyes closed and brows furrowed, seemingly still reeling from her previous terror. Conan attentively tended to her, gently wiping the dirt and blood from her face, her gaze filled with concern. Chitaki, not far away, kindled a fire, the flickering flames illuminating his solemn visage. He occasionally glanced at the woman and Conan. Breaking the silence, Chitaki remarked, "Conan, this woman's identity is likely not simple." As Conan continued to care for the woman, she replied, "Tsukimi was born into an ancient illusionist clan, showcasing remarkable talent in illusions from a young age. She possesses a unique ability, unlike ordinary illusions, one that only the distant early clan leaders were said to have. Her family, being pursued for this power, fled here to establish their village. Tsukimi's father is the current clan leader, yet other ambitious members of the clan discovered her extraordinary ability and sought to capture her for research, igniting a civil conflict. To protect her, her parents perished alongside their enemies, forcing her, at a tender age, to embark on a solitary path of escape. During her flight, she ceaselessly honed her skills. Tsukimi's expression was one of desolation as she gazed vacantly at the war-torn land in the distance, her eyes revealing profound despair and weariness. She murmured, "This wicked and filthy world of ninjas is rife with endless strife and slaughter, filled with conspiracies and betrayals, devoid of any hope. I am utterly disheartened, longing only for a tranquil place to retreat, free from the burdens of this chaotic world." Chitaki approached Tsukimi, his gaze shimmering with fervor, and spoke with unwavering conviction and passion. "Tsukimi, do not give up so easily." The black three-tails opened its gaping maw, unleashing a formidable jet of water that surged towards Chihiro, the sheer force of which shattered the ground beneath its path. Fortunately, alerted by Tsukimi's timely warning, Chihiro swiftly evaded this lethal strike. Upon landing, he quickly formed hand seals and exclaimed, "Fire style, fireball jutsu." A colossal fireball erupted from his mouth, hurtling towards the three tails. However, the creature's defenses were remarkably robust, and Chihiro's fire technique failed to inflict any substantial damage. In a rage, the three tails roared, and the tailed beast bomb detonated at Chihiro's center, unleashing a vast explosion that radiated violent energy like a raging tsunami. Everything appeared insignificant and fragile before this cataclysmic force. Trees were uprooted and swept away like brittle straw in a tempest, while mountain peaks were ruthlessly leveled, boulders tumbling down amidst clouds of dust. As the dust settled following the tailed beast bomb's explosion, a vast crater emerged, a shocking sight that resembled a grievous scar upon the earth. Everything around it seemingly reverted to a desolate state. Back at the Akatsuki, before the others could fully process their relief at having narrowly escaped death, another startling revelation reached them. Itachi and Kisame's attempt to capture the Nine Tails had also ended in failure. Chihiro was not surprised. He had anticipated such an outcome. In his heart, he knew that Konoha was far from the weak and easily subdued entity others perceived it to be. Itachi Uchiha and Kisame openly infiltrated the borders of Konoha, their presence quickly drawing the attention of the village's shinobi, especially given the unusual appearance of the latter. Chapter 33. the guerrilla clan Chihiro arrived at the Spirit Peak Valley for training. This valley served as the sanctuary for the guerrilla clan and was one of the most ancient and enigmatic locations in the world of Naruto. Nestled amid towering mountains, the valley was encircled by peaks that seemed to touch the sky, forming a natural barrier that isolated it from the outside world. The scenery within was surreal, shrouded in mist, with rays of dawn occasionally piercing through the clouds, creating a dreamlike ambience. The vegetation was lush and diverse, with ancient, towering trees abundant, their sprawling branches intertwining to form a verdant canopy overhead. The ground was carpeted with thick green foliage, resembling the rooftops of interconnected drainage pipes. With a loud thud, white mist erupted as Chihiro employed the reverse summoning technique to return from the Spirit Peak Valley to the Land of Rain. The overcast sky loomed like a vast gray canvas, heavy clouds seemingly threatening to crush the entire realm. The incessant drizzle fell like a fine curtain of beads, weaving through the landscape. Under the relentless rain, the streets became muddy and slippery, while the ancient buildings appeared even more weathered amidst the downpour. Chihiro walked with a light-hearted stride, splashing through puddles, a playful smile lingering on his face. Finally, he encountered Konan. She stood gracefully, her eyes reflecting a deep resolve. After leaving the land of Earth, Konan and Chihiro sped towards the direction of the Cloud Village like two swift gales. As they traversed the dense woods, the two figures leapt gracefully from one tree to another, their movements akin to the wind, stirring up a flurry of fallen leaves. Xiaonan, with her lithe form, resembled a nimble bird, perpetually soaring ahead. Qianlong, trailing behind, pursued her relentlessly yet could not match her pace, panting heavily. "Xiaonan," he shouted, straining to keep up. However, she seemed oblivious to his calls, forging ahead without a glance back. After departing from the Land of Thunder, Qianlong and Xiaonan embarked on their journey back to the Land of Rain without pause. Along the way, they dared not allow the slightest relaxation or complacency. The overcast sky bore down upon them, thick with clouds that felt as if they might crush them, foreboding a tumultuous path ahead. Their steps were hurried, expressions grave, as they navigated through the thick forest, branches and thorns occasionally snagging at their garments. Crossing a rushing stream, the splashes dampened their pant legs. The road beneath their feet was muddy and slippery, yet their hearts yearned to return home, and they pressed on resolutely towards the Land of Rain. The ninja with the short yellow hair was none other than Shi, the bodyguard of the Reikage. His gaze was piercing, and his mind agile as he meticulously assessed the complex and dire situation at hand, providing unwavering support to the Reikage. With a serious demeanor, he warned, "Everyone must exercise caution. This individual is certainly formidable. He appears to wield some mysterious and powerful techniques. Just moments ago, the Reikage chakra armor mysteriously vanished upon nearing him. Furthermore, based on my observations, this person possesses chakra of wind, fire, and lightning attributes, indicating a profound mastery of ninjutsu." Upon returning to the Akatsuki, Xiaonan rested in a tranquil room, allowing herself to heal. Lying on the soft bed, her complexion remained somewhat pale, yet her expression gradually relaxed. Meanwhile, Qianlong secluded himself in a quiet corner, engrossed in his training. He focused intently, beads of sweat cascading down his forehead, undeterred by distractions. During brief interludes, he meticulously analyzed various intelligence reports circulated within the Akatsuki, as well as information gathered from diverse channels regarding the 5 great nations. The Akatsuki's intelligence system was indeed astonishingly powerful, its wealth of information and rapid dissemination leaving Qianlong both in awe and grateful. The elder spoke slowly, articulating each word with care. "This blade is the Yueying blade, a divine weapon once wielded by the second Hokage, Senju Tobarama, of the Land of Fire. In years past, just before the onset of the Great Ninja War, Senju Tobarama commissioned the Land of Blades to meticulously forge 2 legendary weapons, one of which was the renowned Raijin sword, while the other is this very Yueying blade before us. I recall those days vividly, as I was but a naive child, fortunate enough to witness the splendor of this treasured sword. Alas, it is said that the second Hokage later fell victim to a treacherous plot by the Land of Thunder while protecting his comrades." Qianlong vigorously shook his head, convinced he must have misheard. His brow furrowed, eyes wide in disbelief, as he repeatedly assured himself, "No, I must have misunderstood." Qianlong found it utterly unacceptable. He would rather believe that something was amiss with his own hearing than entertain the notion that such words could emanate from the mouth of that deranged old man. Who was Senju Hashirama? He was none other than the first Hokage, the leader of the Senju clan, the founder of Konoha, and the initial Hokage of the Land of Fire. He was also the reincarnation of Ashura, the second son of the Sage of Six Paths, possessing the unique wood release. Orochimaru coldly remarked, "Do not meddle in today's affairs. They do not concern you. I am here for this young girl." His voice was chilling and laden with menace, and his narrow eyes glimmered with a disquieting light. Upon Orochimaru's appearance, Qianlong's fury ignited instantly, his eyes seemingly ablaze with rage. The tumult within his heart surged like a violent tide. It was he, this nefarious individual, who had slain his savior, the third Hokage. Qianlong gritted his teeth and shouted, "Orochimaru, I did not seek you out, yet here we are?" Orochimaru continued with his ominous tone. The great serpent attacks from behind. Yufeng braced himself with his shield. The tremendous force of the impact rendered him steadfast, yet the surroundings were shaken as if two colossal mountains had collided. Qianlong marveled at the might displayed. The two summoned beasts engaged in a fiercely intense battle, with every clash shaking the very earth and evoking a sense of dread. Seeing that victory was not imminent, Orochimaru's gaze turned steely as he instructed Kabuto, "You take Iane and leave. I will hold Qianlong at bay." The fierce struggle between the two summoned beasts raged on, the situation remaining precarious. As Qianlong noticed Kabuto attempting to depart with Iane, urgency surged within him. Iane clutched the scroll tightly in her hands, slowly sinking to the ground. Her arms wrapped around her knees, burying her head deeply. Her anguished cries emerged from her throat, gradually becoming hoarse. What began as heart-wrenching sobs transformed into soft weeping and sniffles. Each sound of her weeping seemed to carry an endless sorrow, evoking profound sympathy. Qianlong quietly observed the helpless girl beside him, his gaze filled with compassion, yet he refrained from speaking or intervening excessively. Instead, he chose to silently join Iane in tending to her grandfather's final affairs, ensuring everything was handled with care. With Iane's support, Qianlong's influence within the Akatsuki began to grow, attracting followers to his cause. Meanwhile, Itachi, upon returning to Konoha, psychologically provoked Sasuke in an attempt to drive him away from the village. His motives were twofold. The demise of the third Hokage rendered Konoha incapable of safeguarding Sasuke, and he sought to expedite Sasuke's growth through the power of hatred. Qianlong reflected on Itachi's sincere intentions, and during their conversations, one could distinctly sense Itachi's deep hopes for Sasuke and the pain that accompanied his resolve. As Itachi had anticipated, upon their return to the Akatsuki, Kimimaro was hospitalized, and Iane continued his treatment. In their discussions, Qianlong marveled at the potency of Iane's medical ninjutsu. Iane explained, "I possess a form of medical ninjutsu that resonates with chakra. When aiding an injured individual, my chakra can resonate with theirs, facilitating their healing. Moreover, it possesses the remarkable ability for cellular restoration, yielding swift therapeutic results. In simpler terms, I can achieve healing by engaging in a chakra exchange with the injured. However, this exchange does not inflict any harm upon myself." Conversely, after returning to the Akatsuki organization, Chihiro was brought by Konan to undertake a new mission. They arrived together at the hall where Pain was conversing with a figure clad in a swirling mask, revealing only a singular eye, which astonishingly bore the Sharingan. Chihiro's heart raced with surprise, for this must surely be the enigmatic masked man mentioned by Itachi, the true mastermind behind the Akatsuki. Unable to contain his curiosity, Chihiro inquired, "Who is he?" Konan remained silent, yet at that moment, Nagato directly responded, "This is our partner, Obito." Chihiro furrowed his brow, scrutinizing the mysterious individual known as Obito. At this juncture, Tsukimi's long, raven-black hair cascaded like a waterfall, interspersed with striking silver strands that shimmered with an enigmatic luster under the dim light. Her eyes, a mysterious shade of purple, were profound and distant, seemingly capable of effortlessly penetrating the deepest secrets of the human heart. Clad in a dark purple robe adorned with elusive, mystical runes that flickered with latent magical energy with her every movement, she wore a silver belt at her waist, from which hung several delicate bells that chimed melodiously with the slightest motion. Chapter 48. Comrades Chihiro and Konan received a mission from the organization, which entailed providing assistance to Sasori and Deidara. Their task was none other than the formidable undertaking of annihilating an entire nation. After all, it was a powerful country, and the notion that Sasori and Deidara could accomplish such a feat with their combined strength seemed utterly implausible. No matter how formidable they were, there would inevitably come a time when their power would wane. Thus, Chihiro, who had been living a leisurely existence akin to retirement within the Akatsuki, found himself compelled to embark once more on a journey fraught with uncertainty. A small nation by the name of Iris, engulfed in darkness, bore witness to Chihiro's anguished plea to Ie Natsum. "I am so sorry." His face was etched with profound sorrow and regret. It pained him deeply to realize that his actions had adversely affected those comrades with whom he had once faced life and death. Ie Natsum placed a reassuring hand on Chihiro's shoulder, saying, "Enough. We have fought side by side through countless battles. We trust you. And everyone in Konoha knows you have been wronged. This is not your fault." Konoha, to the various clans of the Land of Fire, represented both an indispensable resource and a constant threat that they sought to keep in check, not allowing it to exhibit any signs of strength. Sasori raised his hand slightly, and the puppet army came to an immediate halt, awaiting his command in silence. His gaze swept across the ravaged landscape, and his fury intensified. He understood that every scar upon this land, every lost life, was the result of the malevolence of the wicked denizens of Iris. With a mere gesture from Sasori, the puppet army infiltrated the nation of Iris like phantoms. The patrolling soldiers of the nation of Iris swiftly detected their presence. Yet these soldiers remained blissfully unaware of the impending catastrophe. They gazed at Scorpion and his puppet army, their faces adorned with scornful smirks, perceiving this as a trivial matter. This utterance sparked a fundamental transformation in Scorpion's perception of Qianlong. At first glance, the statement appeared absurd. However, it profoundly pierced the softest corners of Scorpion's heart. Upon returning to the Akatsuki organization, news arrived that the immortal duo, Haiden and Kakazu, had successfully captured the Two-Tails beast. Pain commanded everyone to employ the illusion Dragon 9 seals for the extraction and sealing of the tailed beast. On a day shrouded in dark clouds, Haiden and Kakazu stealthily infiltrated the area where the Two-Tails Jinchuriki, a host of the beast, resided. The land was suffused with a tense atmosphere, as if foreboding the imminent arrival of trouble. Qianlong and Tsukimi traversed mountains and rivers, enduring numerous hardships, until they finally reached the hidden mist village in the Land of Water. On the outskirts of the village, the vigilant guard forces stood ready. Clad in uniform, the ninjas cast sharp glances, cautiously surveying their surroundings. Yet, for the exceptionally skilled Qianlong and Tsukimi, this posed no insurmountable obstacle. Stepping into the hidden mist village, the duo could not help but marvel at the enchanting sight before them. The village nestled against the mountains and beside flowing waters, with crystal-clear streams meandering like animated ribbons. In the distance, verdant hills undulated, harmoniously juxtaposed with the azure sky and white clouds. Within the village, ancient structures stood in picturesque disarray. Komiai gently bit her lip and nodded slightly, saying, "Very well, I am willing to assist you. However, this endeavor is fraught with difficulty, and I harbor many concerns." Upon hearing this, Qianlong's face broke into his characteristic unrefined smile. Placing his hands on Komiai's shoulders, he leaned closer and remarked, "Oh, lovely Komiai, with me around. What is there to fear?" Komiai shot him a playful glare. "You are so glib. Be serious." Yet she made no move to resist his hands, seemingly accustomed to his flirtations from their first encounter. Qianlong gazed at Komiai's ample figure, a grin spreading across his face. "Before you, I am entirely at ease." Uchiha Itachi, Scorpion of the Sand, Kagaya Kimimaro, Shiro, and Iane all appeared to be in harmonious spirits, shedding their usual gravitas. Itachi and Scorpion, once somber, now wore relaxed expressions, engaging in light-hearted conversation. At that moment, two individuals who should not have been present suddenly materialized before the gathering. They were the copy ninja Kakashi Hitaki and the eyebrow-raising master of the dynamic entry, Might Guy, both hailing from Konoha. At this time, Guy, fatigued from his boat journey, lacked his usual youthful vigor and appeared quite lethargic. Indeed, they were summoned by Qianlong for assistance. The palace of the feudal lord of the Land of Water stood majestically, exuding grandeur. The glazed tiles shimmered with an enigmatic glow under the moonlight, and the intricately designed eaves and brackets showcased an elegant yet solemn demeanor. The crimson walls encircled the palace, seemingly narrating tales of boundless authority. However, in this tranquil moment, two thunderous explosions shattered the night's stillness. Brilliant beams of light streaked across the sky as several explosive tags soared towards the palace gates like shooting stars. In an instant, flames erupted skyward, smoke billowed, and the incredibly sturdy gates were obliterated by the tremendous force, splintering into wood and stone fragments that scattered in every direction. Dressed in the emblem of the Akatsuki, Qianlong, Tsukimi, and Lingyin emerged gracefully from the mirror, materializing in the midst of an intense battle between Kimimaro and Scorpion. Their sudden appearance captivated the attention of all present. Kimimaro and Scorpion momentarily paused, while the ninjas of the Fujino clan regarded the trio with heightened vigilance. Perched atop a wall, Qianlong smiled effortlessly and remarked, What do you think, brother Scorpion?" Scorpion, visibly irked, retorted loudly, "Cut the nonsense. I'm savoring the beauty of art." At that moment, Kimimaro was unable to suppress his emotions. In the Shadow's office, silence enveloped the space, so profound that one could almost hear the heartbeat of the two individuals present, Qianlong and Terumi Mei. Qianlong slowly approached Terumi Mei from behind, wrapping his arms gently around her slender waist, resting his face against her back as he inhaled deeply. Intoxicated by the enchanting fragrance wafting from her hair, Terumi Mei shivered slightly but did not pull away. A blush of shyness graced her cheeks. Qianlong tenderly tilted his head, placing a soft kiss upon her beautiful neck, as gentle as a feather's caress. He cradled her face with his hands, affectionately saying, On a winding mountain path, Kakuzu and Haiden walked side by side, heading towards the lair of the Seven Tails. Kakuzu, with a steady gait and an expressionless demeanor, cautioned, Haiden, this time, do not act impulsively like last time and jeopardize our plan. Haiden, unconcerned, scoffed, Humph, I know, you old men are so tedious. Kakuzu shot him a sidelong glance. Do not underestimate the situation. The Seven Tails is not easily dealt with. Haiden flashed a grin, revealing his sharp teeth. What is there to fear? With my Lord of Evil blessing, it's all under control. Meanwhile, the battle between Kimimaro and Haiden raged on fiercely. On the battlefield, Kimimaro, agile and resolute, exuded an indomitable spirit. Gripping the sharp-boned sword, each swing cut through the air with a whistling sound. Haiden, with a menacing expression, tightly held his three-bladed scythe, a formidable weapon in his grasp. Kimimaro initiated the assault, his figure flickering like a specter as he lunged towards Haiden. The bone sword slicing through the air in a cold arc aimed directly at Haiden's throat. Undeterred, Haiden swiftly sidestepped while brandishing his scythe. When Qianlong arrived, the smoke of battle had yet to dissipate entirely. He regarded Kimimaro's weary yet determined figure with admiration. Kimimaro glanced back at Qianlong, offering a slight smile that seemed to convey the hardships of battle and the rarity of victory. Qianlong quickly approached, nodding slightly, affirming Kimimaro's valiant efforts with a resolute gaze. Standing amidst the aftermath of chaos were Qianlong, Tsukimi, Lingyin, and Kimimaro. With a serious expression, Qianlong addressed everyone. We must clean up the battlefield thoroughly. We cannot leave traces of our presence here. On the fringes of the ninja world lies a mysterious valley shrouded in perpetual fog, the dwelling place of the Four Tails. The valley is surrounded by towering cliffs and jagged stones, adorned with ancient runes that whisper of time's passage, emanating an awe-inspiring power. These runes form a natural barrier, safeguarding against the prying eyes of outsiders while simultaneously containing the ferocious energy within the valley. Strange vegetation flourishes here, their leaves a profound shade of purplish red, rustling softly in the breeze as if recounting age-old tales. Deep within the valley, on a tranquil afternoon, Fu ambles leisurely through the landscape. The surroundings are enveloped in serene silence, save for the echo of her footsteps. Fu possesses long, silky lavender hair, its tips gently curling like dancing violets. Her eyes, a deep and enigmatic violet, seem to harbor endless stars, occasionally flickering with a resolute glimmer. Her skin is as fair as snow, exuding a subtle halo under the sunlight. She bears a graceful and athletic figure, adorned in attire reflecting the hues associated with the Seven Tails, embellished with unique patterns that likely symbolize the power of the Seven Tails, appearing as flowing energy. At that moment, Mei Ming entered, observing the individuals before her, and inquired if they had adjusted well. After several days of companionship, they had formed a close friendship. just as the Akatsuki organization resolved to capture the Seven Tails. Chiho and Konin were already en route. Under the meticulous planning of Tsukimi, she and Shiro arrived at Fu's residence, providing her with a detailed account of their mission. After earning Fu's trust, they proposed that she use the shed skin of the Seven Tails as her decoy. This strategy would not only safeguard her from the Akatsuki's pursuit, but also cultivate a sense of trust between the Seven Tails and Tsukimi's group. Meanwhile, within the Akatsuki, the members were gathered for a meeting led by Pain. He announced, "Through our persistent efforts, we have successfully captured the 4 tails, 6 tails, and 2 tails. Although we were unable to capture the 3 tails, we have acquired comprehensive intelligence regarding its whereabouts. Our attempt to seize the 7 tails has failed, but we shall continue gathering information." At that juncture, Chiho interjected, "We have obtained specific intelligence on the 5 tails. I propose that to enhance our chances of successfully capturing the tailed beasts, we should mobilize our entire team this time. Not only can we capture the 5 tails, but we can also reclaim the Land of Earth, establishing it as the Akatsuki's latest base." Previously, in the Land of Earth, there is a location known as the Earthstone Valley. It is an expansive valley littered with stones of various sizes, surrounded by moderately elevated earthen hills. A clear stream flows through the valley, flanked by trees and patches of grass. Deep within lies a naturally formed earthen cave, the very sanctuary of the 5 tails Jinchuriki, boasting a dry, well-ventilated, and comfortable environment. Chiho and Konin now stood side by side atop the towering valley, surveying the scene before them. This is the 5 tails. In the office of the Tsuchikage, Chiho reclined languidly on an enormous couch, affectionately draping his left arm around Kurotsuchi, while his right hand rested casually on the armrest, crossing his legs in a relaxed pose. Before him sat the Tsuchikage along with the guard, Katsuchi. Qianlong chuckled, remarking that the young beauty had become even more enchanting. With a smile playing at the corners of his mouth, he revealed to the Tsuchikage the intricate plans of the Akatsuki's assault on the Land of Earth. As his words lingered in the air, Qianlong fixed an intense gaze upon the Tsuchikage, slowly inquiring, "What say you, old man? Do you place your trust in me? Make your decision swiftly." The night enveloped the vast expanse of the Land of Earth like a heavy, dark silk drape. Itachi and Kisame, akin to harbingers of doom, stealthily infiltrated this seemingly tranquil realm, burdened with the grim mandate of the Akatsuki to eradicate the power center of the Land of Earth. The estate of the Akatsuchi clan stood fortified by rock walls, resembling an impregnable fortress. Vigilant guards atop the watchtowers remained oblivious to the impending shadow of death. Itachi and Kisame halted not far from the estate, their eyes devoid of compassion. The deadly duo, Sasori and Deidara, descended like twin blades of fate. Perched upon a colossal clay bird, Deidara unleashed a raucous laugh, his hands deftly weaving intricate seals, as torrents of clay bombs cascaded like rain upon Iwagakure. Boom, boom, boom. The explosions reverberated through the night, flames erupting skyward, obliterating the structures of Iwagakure in an instant. Amidst the chaos, the terrified cries of villagers mingled with the hurried assembly of ninjas. Meanwhile, Sasori commanded his puppet army, surging forth like a relentless tide towards Iwagakure. In a somewhat antiquated abode within Takigakure, Ling anxiously carried the injured Han inside. Iane and Tsukimi followed closely, their faces etched with concern. The interior was dimly lit. Thick with tension, Han lay on a modest bed, his complexion as pale as parchment, blood gushing from his wounds, staining his clothing a deep crimson. Ling swiftly approached the bedside, her gaze focused and resolute. With hands clasped together, she summoned her chakra, a soft green glow emanating from her palms. Embodying the essence of medical ninjutsu, gently, she placed her hands over Han's wounds. On a secluded island in the Land of Water, a humble dwelling stood enveloped by dense foliage. The waves crashed against the rocks surrounding the island, producing a resonant roar. The salty sea breeze swept across every inch of land, while the lush trees swayed, whispering ancient secrets to one another. Inside the modest cabin, a faint mist lingered. The Jinchuriki of the 5 tails, Han, had his crimson steam armor cast aside, his robust physique swathed in bandages. Iane sat beside him, meticulously examining his injuries. Han expressed his gratitude, saying, "I owe my life to you, had it not been for your timely intervention." Qianlong silently resolved to demonstrate his true prowess. He understood that to earn genuine respect for his training, he must exhibit tangible abilities. This was not merely for Han's acknowledgement, but to prove to everyone that he possessed the strength to lead them towards a promising future. Taking a deep breath, his eyes filled with unwavering determination, as if he was poised to embrace any challenge that lay ahead. In an open expanse, the five-tails Jinchuriki, Han, loomed like a giant. He possessed a tall and robust physique, his muscular frame exuding formidable strength. Clad in resplendent red steam armor, he was enveloped in swirling steam, radiating a brilliant glow. The intricate patterns of his armor captivating. Furthermore, Qianliang had mastered an advanced form of celestial arts known as spirit invocation, which allowed him to harness the natural energies surrounding him. Not only could he absorb these energies, but he could also manifest them into tangible forms of power, akin to the invisible force that had just vanquished an enemy. A truly remarkable feat. As the smoke dispersed with a resounding pop, Han maintained his human form. Yet a tail unexpectedly emerged behind him. In this form, as a Jinchuriki, Han could preliminarily tap into the chakra of the five tails, thereby enhancing his strength, speed, and various capabilities to a considerable degree. With incredible swiftness, Han leaped into action, aiming to leverage his immense power. In front of the map, Natsum Aya was briefing everyone on the intelligence regarding the land of armor. Nestled at the edge of the continent and separated from the land of water by a vast sea, the land of armor boasted a serpentine border rich in diverse terrains. The coastal region featured narrow sandy beaches and towering cliffs, where relentless waves crashed against the shore, creating a natural defense. Inland lay expansive grasslands, swaying gently in the breeze like a verdant ocean. Beyond the prairies rose undulating mountains, the highest peak known as Armor Peak, perpetually shrouded in snow, resembling a colossal white shield erected by nature for this realm. Holding dual blades, Chojiro relentlessly eliminated the soldiers of the land of armor before him. He unleashed the power of his blades. Gas erupted from the two circular orifices, and the blades radiated a luminous glow, coalescing into a mass of chakra. Subsequently, the chakra sphere erupted, showcasing tremendous destructive power. Qianliang marveled at the prowess of the armor. However, Chojiro's blades had transformed into a massive hammer, rendering their ordinary armor utterly defenseless. Turning to Natsum Aya, he urged, "Let us begin." Thus, Natsum Aya, Yuzuki Yuyo, and Kimimaro joined the fray. Initially, Qianliang had refrained from deploying all their forces. Amidst the mysterious and tumultuous atmosphere of the Akatsuki organization, Qianliang and Konin enjoyed a rare moment of respite. On one occasion, the organization tasked them with a significant mission related to the tailed beasts. It was said that a remote village nestled deep within the mountains might harbor crucial clues about the tailed beasts. Without hesitation, Qianliang and Konin embarked on this journey into the unknown, sharing laughter and anecdotes along the way. Upon reaching the secluded mountain, they were enveloped by an eerie aura, the surrounding silence sending shivers down their spines. "Humph, those Leaf Village scoundrels had best not interfere with us today," Konin declared. With a swift hand seal, Red Lotus emanated a crystalline glow, which rapidly coalesced into sharp crystalline blades, hurling towards the Leaf Ninja. Kakashi reacted with remarkable speed, warning everyone, "Be cautious." As he deftly sidestepped the blades, he quickly formed hand seals, unleashing Raikiri, a bolt of blue lightning spiraling from his hand towards Red Lotus. Naruto, undeterred, shouted, "Shadow Clone Jutsu." Instantly, dozens of clones surged towards the enemy, engaging in a chaotic melee with Red Lotus's subordinates. Hinata activated her Byakugan. During a meeting of the Akatsuki organization, Pain solemnly addressed the recent mission to capture the Three Tails, stating, "Though we have successfully captured the Three Tails, it is utterly intolerable that the traitorous Orochimaru harbors ambitions for the tailed beasts. Such actions fundamentally conflict with the principles of the Akatsuki." He then inquired about the progress of Scorpion and Deidara in their pursuit of Orochimaru. With arms crossed and a stern expression, Scorpion replied, "That wretch is exceedingly sly, having evaded our traps multiple times." Deidara, seething with anger, retorted, "Humph. Had it not been for his despicable tricks, we would have captured him long ago." Pain coldly interjected, "Enough. We shall eliminate Orochimaru. Deidara's team and Konin's team will jointly obliterate the Sound Village." Once the others departed, only 4 remained. Scorpion stated, "Deidara and I will handle intelligence and assault, while Konin and Chojuro will oversee reconnaissance and support." Chojuro mockingly remarked, "Oh, Deidara, shall I take the lead in the attack? After all, You let Orochimaru slip away last time. Deidara snapped back. Shut up. Orochimaru produced a red talisman, known as a control seal, embedded with kunai. He drove the seal into the nape of a deceased individual, and instantly, two reincarnated figures sprang to life. This talisman granted him dominion over the resurrected. Orochimaru hissed. Let the games begin. I have painstakingly awaited your arrival, preparing adversaries tailored specifically for you both. I wonder how long you can endure. From within their coffins, the second Tsuchikage and second Kazekage launched an immediate assault on the two. Scorpion, fully aware of their peril, noted that Chojuro and Konin had arrived at an irregularly shaped pit, seemingly the entrance to Orochimaru's lair. The entrance was jagged, with sharp rocks protruding, surrounded by sparse, withered grass, as if guarding this enigmatic realm. A deep, dark aura emanated from the chasm, accompanied by a faint, chilling breeze. When Naruto and Sasuke finally met, the atmosphere shifted to one of tension and subtlety. Naruto, clad in an orange jacket and black pants, wearing the Konoha forehead protector, displayed a mix of excitement and urgency in his eyes, reflecting the complexity of their long-awaited reunion. Sasuke immediately leaped into action, forming hand seals in rapid succession, exclaiming, "Fire release, great fireball technique." A colossal fireball erupted from his mouth. Simultaneously, Chojuro, nearly in sync, formed a single-handed seal and unleashed a wind release, vacuum sphere, compressing the wind into a spherical form before expelling it. The wind sphere shot forth like a bullet towards Sasuke, who nimbly dodged with agility. Witnessing Chojuro's prowess, Sasuke's ire intensified. With a thunderous boom, the ground erupted, debris soaring into the air as smoke billowed forth. Sasuke laughed heartily, declaring, "This is a gift I prepared for that man. It seems it will have to be used on you instead. What a pity." Surrounded by varying expressions, Naruto and his companions called out for teacher Qianliang, while Captain Yamato appeared utterly astonished. Who could possibly survive such an explosion? As the smoke dissipated, a remarkably smooth, ceramic-like, earth-toned gorilla statue emerged from the pit, its surface gleaming. With a thunderous sound, white smoke rose. This colossal ceramic gorilla came to life, provoking Naruto as Orochimaru incessantly taunted him, belittling Naruto's relationship with Sasuke. This provocation ignited Naruto's fury. Losing control, the chakra of the nine tails surged within him, swiftly elevating him to the state of four tails. His physical form underwent a dramatic transformation, enveloped in crimson chakra, with sharp claws and fierce teeth. As his rationality began to wane, initially, Orochimaru maintained his composure against the four-tailed Naruto, employing various ninjutsu techniques. He summoned a horde of snakes to assault Naruto, yet they were repelled by Naruto's formidable strength. Meanwhile, Sasuke gradually awoke from his slumber, with the cat elder beside him, serving hot tea, while Sasuke was wrapped in bandages. The cat elder remarked, "You have awakened." Sasuke replied, "Grandmother, it is you who saved me." The cat elder sighed, "Ah, you are a bit too hasty, my child. Do not rush. You need to grow, not only in strength, but also in spirit." The room was alive with cats, some frolicking, others feasting. The cat elder was the proprietor of the weapon shop used by the Uchiha clan and the leader of the Konoha ninja cats. Her straightforward nature was evident, having watched over Sasuke and Itachi as they grew, hoping for their well-being. As the setting sun cast an orange-red veil over Iwagakure, the village basked in tranquility. Yet this peace was destined to be shattered. Deidara soared above the village on his clay-crafted white bird. His dazzling golden hair danced in the wind, his face adorned with an eager smile as he hummed an unknown tune, his eyes scanning the village below in search of the Jinchuriki. "Gaara. Humph, Gaara. Today you shall witness the magnificence of my art." Deidara muttered, his hands poised. Upon the news of Gaara's abduction spreading, chaos erupted in Iwagakure. Passionate ninjas like Kankuro, filled with righteous indignation, insisted on pursuing Deidara, unable to bear the humiliation of their Kazekage's capture, fearing for Gaara's safety. However, the village's higher-ups intervened, concerned that this might be a trap laid by the Akatsuki organization. They cautioned against reckless pursuit, fearing it could lead to greater casualties and losses. The discourse grew heated, with both sides steadfast in their beliefs. This incident also sparked doubts regarding Gaara's standing. Although he had become the Kazekage, some questioned whether he had truly earned the respect of the higher-ups. At this juncture, Qianliang and Konin appeared. "Hello, Brother Scorpion," Qianliang greeted first. Before Scorpion could respond, Deidara interjected. You show up only after the fight is over. Where have you been? Qianliang glanced at Deidara's injured arm, which had been severed by Gaara's sand. With a chuckle, Qianliang teased. What's the matter, little Deidara? Are you hurt? Turning around, Deidara spoke with an air of arrogance. It's just a minor injury. There's no need for your concern. Qianliang, undeterred, continued their banter. Remember to call your big brother if you can't win next time. I will come to your aid. Just as Qianliang and Conan were engaged in light conversation, the pursuit teams from Sunagakure and Konoha had already arrived at their location. Qianliang sighed. Their speed is indeed remarkable. The newcomers comprised Kakashi, Naruto, Sakura from Team 7, along with Chiyo from the land of Wind Sand Village. Qianliang raised his hand and cheerfully greeted everyone. Hi, everyone. Thank you for your patience. It appears we are all old friends. He feigned familiarity with Kakashi, though neither displayed much recognition. Qianliang remarked, Kakashi, long time no see. Meanwhile, Maki and a multitude of ninjas remained at a distance, observing the unfolding events. As Conan concluded her battle with Haiden, they were about to charge forward when Qianliang suddenly appeared, his Yueying blades swirling through the air. Qianliang unleashed the Shuriken Shadow Clone technique, sending countless Yueying blades dancing through the sky, weaving through Maki and his comrades, causing numerous ninjas to fall lifelessly. Maki, still clinging to life, struggled on the ground. Qianliang approached leisurely, casually picking up a ninja blade left embedded in the earth by another fallen ninja, and addressing Maki, declared, You were the one who killed Tsukike's. Today, I shall avenge him. Maki's pupils dilated in shock as the wind whistled past his ears. Naruto, filled with urgency and rage, closely followed Kakashi, pursuing Deidara, who was soaring in the air on his clay bird, having abducted Gaara. Their figures pierced through the azure sky, resembling two swift arrows cutting through the heavens. Kakashi's gaze was sharp, fixated on the fleeing Deidara, fully aware that he must intercept him swiftly to reclaim Gaara. At that moment, he was prepared to exert every ounce of his strength, knowing that he faced a member of the Akatsuki, leaving no room for complacency. Deidara, you shall not escape, Kakashi shouted. In the depths of the shadowy cave, light and shadows danced eerily upon the stone walls, as if trembling in anticipation of the impending, heart-pounding battle. Chiyo and Sakura wore serious expressions, their eyes fixed intensely on the distant Sasori, who maintained his calm and somewhat cold demeanor. His dark red cloak fluttering gently in the breeze, and the massive scroll behind him loomed like a perilous volcano ready to erupt. Humph, old woman, and you too, little girl, today shall be your final resting place. Scorpion was the first to speak, his voice echoing coldly and disdainfully within the cavern. Meanwhile, Gaara's lifeless body had been rescued by Naruto and his companions. Chiyo, resolute in her decision, chose to employ her life transfer technique to revive Gaara. She formed hand seals, channeling her chakra and life force through a unique ninjutsu pathway, gradually transmitting it into Gaara's body to compensate for the life force he had lost in death. As the process unfolded, Chiyo's vitality waned until it ultimately dissipated, while Gaara, infused with this life force, began to regain his bodily functions and was eventually resurrected. Although the Akatsuki's mission faced numerous obstacles, it was successfully accomplished, culminating in the sealing of the One Tail. After rescuing Scorpion, Suigetsu observed the approaching dragon with unwavering composure. He propelled himself into the air with a powerful kick, executing a graceful backflip to evade the dragon's frontal assault. He then formed hand seals, unleashing the lightning release, Chidori Sharp Spear. Instantly, numerous bolts of lightning surged from his arm, converging into a sharp spear that plunged fiercely towards the dragon. The crackling sound of electricity coincided with a thunderous explosion as the lightning release collided with the explosive force within the dragon, creating an even more intense shockwave that rippled through the surrounding air. Once a member of the 12 Guardian Ninja, Homa harbored extreme and perilous ideals, aspiring to completely usurp the power of the Hokage and transfer the actual authority of the ninjas to the daimyo of the Fire Country. After clashing with Asuma and other ninjas who upheld traditional values, he suffered defeat and fled. However, the obsession within him never extinguished, instead flourishing in the shadows like a wildfire, poised to engulf Konoha. Under the alias of Goto, Homa, after meticulously orchestrating various plots, finally advanced towards Konoha with his three capable subordinates, Fu, Du, and In. He also executed a formidable jutsu, In a hall within the Akatsuki's Rain Village, Pain and the others were gathered. Pain announced, "Allow me to introduce a new member, Toby." A man wearing an orange whirlpool mask emerged slowly from the shadows, clad in a form-fitting outfit and a deep green scarf. Pain continued, "This is Toby, who will replace Deidara and partner with Scorpion." Toby inquired, "Is this the artist?" Pain remarked, "Newcomers should learn to respect their seniors," clearly displeased with the nickname Toby had given to Scorpion. Kisame then spoke, "Does it remind you of an old friend?" Itachi remained silent, and Suigetsu also chose not to speak. Suigetsu felt a sense of secret joy. In a forest suffused with an air of mystery, dappled light filtered through the gaps in the leaves, as if draping the land in a veil of interwoven shadows and light. Kisame stood silently, resembling a towering iron statue, with his shark skin glistening ominously, seemingly expressing his yearning for battle. Soon, the hurried footsteps of Team Hawk echoed, and their silhouettes came into view before Kisame. Sasuke led the way, his gaze filled with determination and urgency, reflecting his singular desire to confront Itachi. Kisame slightly raised his gaze toward Sasuke, his voice deep yet imbued with a subtle intensity. Itachi stood silently, his black robe rustling in the wind, his countenance as cold as ever. Yet within the depths of his piercing eyes lay a complex tapestry of emotions, resignation, guilt, and a hint of satisfaction regarding his brother's growth, all of which he skillfully concealed beneath a facade of indifference. "You have finally arrived, Sasuke." Itachi's voice shattered the suffocating silence, sounding as though he was merely exchanging a commonplace greeting with his brother. However, the weight of his words struck Sasuke's heart like a boulder. "Humph, I have awaited this day for far too long. Today marks the end," came the chilling voice of Zetsu, emerging like a specter from the tree trunk, bearing the grim tidings of the battle between Sasuke and Itachi. The confrontation had concluded, and Itachi lay dead. Kisame, who had been engaged in a duel with Suigetsu, momentarily halted, shock etched across his usually stoic face, his eyes wide as if he could scarcely believe the news that had reached him. Yet, a sardonic smile crept onto his lips as he remarked, "Oh, has Itachi really perished?" The other members of Team Hawk were primarily concerned for Sasuke. While they pondered where to locate the Sharingan for Itachi, the latter lifted his hand with great effort, seemingly wishing to articulate something. Suigetsu leaned in closely, and Itachi struggled to utter a few words. "Naruto, Sharingan." Upon hearing this, the group was enveloped in confusion. What connection could there possibly be between Naruto and the Sharingan? Yet Suigetsu interjected, "Let us not dwell on that for now. Since Itachi has spoken, he must truly know what he requires. For the moment, we shall split into 3 teams. Mizuki, Ayane, and Kimimaro. You will escort Itachi to the Land of Water. Bai, you go find Kakashi and explain the situation." Itachi, with great difficulty, began to form hand seals, and instantly, a crow emerged from Naruto's mouth, its eyes resembling those of Shirsue's left eye. The group was left in astonishment. Following Suigetsu's surgical intervention, the Sharingan was successfully transplanted into Itachi's eyes. Itachi's labored breathing gradually steadied, indicating that his vital signs had stabilized. Uchiha Shirsue, a ninja burdened with the honor of his clan and the power of his unique ocular technique, now faced an unprecedented crisis. His Mangekyo Sharingan, with its right eye possessing the ability to subtly manipulate others, was in dire straits. Danzo, his head wrapped in bandages revealing only one eye amidst a face marked by age and hardship, appeared, his weathered skin bearing witness to a life of struggle. Upon Danzo's arrival, Suigetsu disregarded him, forming hand seals with his right hand. The Kage blade shot forth from his wrist, and Suigetsu directed it swiftly towards the group. A cacophony erupted as everyone drew their weapons to defend themselves against the fierce assault, being forced back by the onslaught. Asuma fortified his stance, channeling wind chakra into his blade to augment its speed and power. After Suigetsu's Kage blade was blocked, it hovered in midair, while Asuma's chakra-infused weapon prepared for an imminent attack from Konan. Suigetsu signaled her to hold back, aware that now was not the time to confront Danzo. The existence of Danzo serves to better maintain a certain equilibrium within Konoha. Should Danzo cease to exist, this delicate balance of yin and yang would be irrevocably disrupted, further complicating the realization of his grand ambitions. Konoha represents the most crucial step in executing all plans. Furthermore, the Akatsuki organization cannot directly confront Danzo. as everything ultimately revolves around the tailed beasts as their ultimate objective. Shiitake observed Danzo and his subordinates with a smile, saying, "Ha ha ha." After a long pause, Dokju finally spoke. "Do you truly intend to annihilate Konoha?" Shiitake responded, "I was once a prodigy of Konoha and later became its hero. Brother Dokju, do you believe I would not cherish this village, this nation?" Yet, after experiencing the events involving the daimyo, I came to understand a profound truth. A mundane existence here cannot bring about change. To genuinely alter the course of this world towards peace, a unified and harmonious world must prevail. Shiitake continued, "The 5 great nations should not exist, nor should ninjas. Only a world of peace and unity is viable." On a small island in the land of water, within an underground secret base, Itachi lay recuperating. After the transplantation of Shursue's Sharingan, although he possessed only one eye, Itachi was recovering well. "Your persistent gloom is detrimental to your healing," Shiitake remarked as he entered, noticing Itachi's enduring despondency, as if burdened by countless sorrows. Itachi slowly inquired, "Why did you save me?" Shiitake, aware of Itachi's longing for death, a perceived release, held a different perspective. Shiitake replied, "Do you believe your sacrifice for Sasuke is the only path?" In the dimly lit chamber, Danzo's figure was partially shrouded in darkness, with only the glint of his exposed Sharingan casting a chilling light. Itachi stood silently before him, his expression serene, yet his heart was tumultuous. Danzo's voice was low and hoarse, echoing as if from the depths of hell. "Itachi, do you know that the conspiracy of the Uchiha clan's rebellion has been discerned by the higher echelons of Konoha? The flickering flame of insurrection, once ignited, will undoubtedly plunge Konoha into an abyss of unending civil war. Blood will stain every inch of land. Countless lives will extinguish amidst the flames of conflict, and the very foundations of Konoha shall be irrevocably shaken." He paused, reflecting on the night cloaked in darkness over the Uchiha settlement, where a suffocating tension lingered in the air. Uchiha Fugaku stood resolutely, like a lone wolf guarding its territory, vigilant and poised. Before him lay the remnants of his kin, ravaged by Obito and Danzo, and he remained impassive, as if the horror unfolding was anticipated. Emerging from the shadows, Obito and Danzo resembled 2 predatory wolves, their eyes glinting with greed and resolve, heralding the onset of a harrowing struggle for survival. With a flash of movement, Obito swiftly formed hand seals, exclaiming, "Fire style, great fireball technique." In the Uchiha settlement, once filled with laughter and joy, now enveloped in death and despair, flames roared fiercely, billowing smoke that ascended into the night sky, akin to the mournful wails of countless tormented souls. Uchiha Itachi stood amidst the ruins, his pallid visage reflecting the devastation around him. His body trembled slightly, and his gaze fell upon the frigid corpses of his kin. The acrid scent of blood and charred remains pervading the air, a nauseating assault on the senses. Uchiha Fugaku supported the injured Uchiha Mikoto, laboriously making his way toward Itachi. Fugaku's steps were heavy and unsteady, his body marred by the scars of battle, blood seeping through his garments. The members of Akatsuki were present, and it was Pain who spoke first. This iteration of the Konoha plan had been orchestrated by Chojuro, and everyone was to heed his directives. Following the previous exchanges with Danzo, Chojuro reported to Pain, who decided to commence the execution of the Konoha plan. The strategy was straightforward, dividing the combat power of the Land of Fire into 2 factions. However, unforeseen complications had arisen. Chojuro articulated, "One faction consists of the military might of the Land of Fire's daimyo and nobility, while the other comprises the forces of Konoha, Kisame Zetsu, and Deidara were tasked with the annihilation of the daimyo and noble class." In the world of Naruto, the Land of Fire has always been the epicenter of the ninja realm, a place of prosperity, with the daimyo's abode heavily fortified, housing the most elite guardians and masters from various clans. Yet, on this fateful day, tranquility was shattered as Akatsuki's Kisame, Zetsu, Deidara, and Itachi stealthily descended, heralding the onset of a breathtaking confrontation. Kisame Hashigaki, towering and robust, bore a face reminiscent of a shark, with sharp teeth glimmering ominously in the dim light, his long, deep blue hair billowing in the wind, while he carried the enormous sword Samahata, wrapped meticulously in bandages, exuding an air of dread. Outside Konoha, Kakashi's and Gai's teams sensed the village was under siege, their hearts racing with urgency. They sprinted towards Konoha, desperate to return and lend their support. Suddenly, a figure clad in a black cloak adorned with crimson clouds obstructed their path. From beneath the shadow of his hat, Chojiro's eyes glinted with an eerie light. The distinctive red cloud cloak of Akatsuki billowing in the mountain breeze, like an iron curtain severing Kakashi's and Gai's route home. Chojiro's sinewy fingers delicately grasped the edge of his straw hat, slowly removing it. A knowing smile graced his lips as he spoke. The spring breeze carries sand and gravel, howling like a lament across the vast desert. 100 elite ninja from Sunagakure, clad in red armor, surged forth like a crimson dragon across the sands. Their strides were resolute, their eyes radiating determination and courage, united by a singular goal, to aid their allies in Konoha. Leading them was Fuga, a stout elite Jonin from Sunagakure, his rugged face etched with scars from the passage of time and conflict. At this moment, he wielded a massive wind blade, vigilantly scanning his surroundings. "We must hasten our pace. Konoha is in peril, and we shall not falter." A thunderous explosion erupted atop the Hokage's office, the rooftop shattering violently. Danzo stood amidst the rubble, flanked by his subordinates, a chilling smile etched upon his face. In his murky eyes burned an intense desire for the title of Hokage. For this position, he had schemed for the greater part of his life, and now, the opportunity lay within his grasp. Even as he exerted great control, the exhilaration in his eyes could not be concealed. Qianlong knelt with one knee resting against the crumbling walls of the Hokage building, his fingertips tapping against the stone, producing a crisp sound. "Danzo, your dilatory demeanor resembles that of a dying spider." As the words escaped his lips, the figure cloaked in black had transformed into an ephemeral shadow, a poisoned kunai glinting coldly as it aimed for Tsunade's throat. The position of Hokage is inherently a symbol of strength and prestige. As the pinnacle of Konoha's combat power, the Hokage sits at the heart of the village, surrounded by countless elite ninjas for protection. The Umbu follow like shadows, and the Jonin are always on standby, not to mention the hidden masters from various clans lurking in the darkness. Attempting to take the Hokage's life under such impenetrable defenses is akin to forging a bloody path through a mountain of blades and a sea of flames, an endeavor as arduous as ascending to the heavens. Once Sasuke's obstinacy takes hold, not even 10 bulls could pull him back. Attempting to reason with him is akin to playing the lute to a cow. In his heart, Danzo must pay in blood for his transgressions. Qianlong took it upon himself to capture the Nine Tails, a task that appeared reckless and thoughtless, yet in truth, the situation was far more complex. Before he could utter a word, Mito Gadian raised his hand, and a crimson mask suddenly emerged, his form twisting in an uncanny manner. A torrent of fiery chakra surged forth, as an S-rank fire technique transformed into a raging inferno, bombarding him relentlessly. As Qianlong maneuvered, he suddenly felt a chill at the hem of his robe. A great net woven from chakra enveloped him, and upon contact, his long robe tore with a resounding rip. Out of the corner of his eye, he glimpsed Mito Gadian's behind, where Kurenai, her hands fluttering like butterflies, was rapidly weaving a prison of chakra threads. Gripping the Mukin blade, the legendary weapon of the second Hokage, he found that even with all his chakra infused into a mighty strike, it proved insufficient to sever the bonds. Throughout the extensive history of the ninja world, the Uzumaki clan shines like a brilliant yet perilous star. Descended from Indra, the eldest son of the Sage of Six Paths, they possess an unparalleled vitality and an extraordinary aptitude for sealing techniques. Their clan emblem resembles intertwined chains in a whirlpool, symbolizing their mastery over energy and the binding of malevolent forces. The Uzumaki clan has long served as an invaluable ally to Konoha, concealed deep within a mystical forest, surrounded by natural barriers and formidable barriers. Here, the clan members have dedicated generations to the study of sealing arts, capable of not only sealing tailed beasts, but also suppressing various evil forces, thus safeguarding peace. Qianlong's countenance darkened like storm clouds, his eyes swirling with icy fury. He lowered his gaze towards his opponent, his voice sharp as if tempered with icy blades. "Those who rely on deceit and treachery to survive are unworthy of the title of ninja, tarnishing the honor of Konoha. A soul as decayed as yours will never grasp the fiery will embodied in the name Konoha." Qianlong stared intensely at Mito Gadian, his gaze piercing, his fierce words overflowing with boundless indignation. "Even wielding overwhelming power, you shall ultimately perish in your delusional ambitions." Your twisted obsession has long blinded you. And those with impure intentions, suddenly, thunder erupted from behind. Sasuke, wielding the Kusanagi sword infused with lightning, struck down fiercely, the metallic clash reverberating through the air. As Shugo turned, an ethereal blue aura enveloped him, instantly activating the second form of his cursed seal, yet he merely blocked without counterattacking. Meanwhile, Sasuke's onslaught surged like a tidal wave, the lightning-based silver serpent hissing as it coiled towards his throat, each strike ruthlessly aimed at vital points. Danzo let out a cold laugh, his right arm, marked with Sharingan, creaking ominously, the crimson pupils flickering eerily beneath his skin. Shugo. Sasuke is under Danzo's control. The anguished cries of Xiangling pierced the smoke-laden battlefield. As a descendant of the Vortex clan, a crimson chakra shimmered around her. Chenwu lay lifeless in a pool of blood. Devoid of any vitality, Sasuke knelt on the ground, trembling hands pressing against the earth, his neck veins bulging, dark purple blood frothing at the corners of his mouth. The strange toxic mist emanating from Danzo's roots had long since seeped into his body through his wounds and breaths. The excruciating pain gnawing at his bones dimming even the brilliance of his Sharingan. From his lofty position, Danzo observed the dying struggles of Sasuke, a satisfied smirk spreading across his face. With a casual wave of his arm, the roots coiled around Xiangling's neck like serpents, dragging her toward him as she fought desperately. Uchiha Sasuke, do you still believe you are, in the land of water, in the hidden mist village? Lingyin was performing surgery on Itachi. After a fierce battle with Konoha's Mido, Qianlong unexpectedly acquired a Sharingan. Tsukuyami speculated that it likely belonged to Uchiha Kagami. Initially, Qianlong intended to transplant Danzo's Shursui Sharingan into Itachi, but Danzo, cornered, utilized the four-symbol seal to take his own life, taking all his secrets into the abyss. Fortunately, this unexpectedly acquired Sharingan became the key to Itachi's salvation. Thanks to Lingyin's exquisite medical ninjutsu, the surgery was completed with great efficiency. As the operating room door slowly slid open, the figure of Uchiha Itachi appeared before everyone. The transplanted Sharingan shone with a new light. Jiraiya stood in the center, his forehead protector prominently displaying the oil character, flanked by two toads. Their eyes were pale, emanating a chilling aura in the shadows, as if preparing to undertake a monumental task, devoid of any flamboyance, just a fierce determination. Pain, embodying the 6 paths, walked through the rain. His voice steady and devoid of inflection, like raindrops striking stone. The pain of this world is beyond your comprehension. So-called peace can only be nurtured through suffering. Jiraiya tightened his grip on the kunai, knuckles whitening, a hoarse statement escaping his throat. Tsunade is already dead. Right and wrong no longer held significance. Jiraiya knelt, blood dripping from his chin into the rain, yet his mind remained exceptionally clear. His life flashed before him like a revolving lantern. In his youth, he had often followed Tsunade, provoking her ire and competing with Orochimaru, only to watch as Orochimaru descended further into darkness, unable to intervene. Later, his mentor, Hiruzen Sarutobi, perished at Orochimaru's hands while trying to protect the village, and he still could not safeguard it. Now, even Yahiko and Nagato, whom he had once hoped for, had strayed down a misguided path. It seemed he had failed to protect anything in his life. Yet, he soon recalled Naruto. In the shadows, a figure donned in a vortex mask slowly emerged, half of his face shrouded in darkness, with only a single eye hole of the mask reflecting a cold light. His movements were swift as a fleeting shadow, employing unparalleled space-time ninjutsu to silently position himself behind Nagato. It was Obito. The sound of flesh being pierced resonated harshly in the confined space. Nagato. Conan's cries barely escaped her lips when a silver arc sliced through the air. It was Qianlong's weighing blade, the blade accurately cleaving through Obito's hand as it pierced Nagato's chest. Inside Obito's secret base, the stone walls exuded dampness. Sasuke's grip on the Kusanagi sword tightened, veins bulging in his hand, his gaze as frigid as poisoned ice. I will return to Konoha and slay them all to avenge Itachi. Obito leaned against the stone wall, his eyes cold and heavy behind his mask. Is that so? The foundation of Konoha is not so fragile. That is not your concern. Sasuke slightly raised the blade, chakra swirling with malevolence, resembling a feral cub, refusing to heed any counsel. To him, Obito's words were mere obstructions, Nothing could compare to the satisfaction of exacting personal vengeance. Obito clicked his tongue, but said nothing further. In the medical room of the hidden mist village, the scent of medicine mingled with the dampness in the air, while raindrops outside slanted against the glass, blurring it with a misty sheen. Jiraiya lay on the bed, his chest bound with thick layers of bandages, each breath eliciting a slight tug. Yet it was far more comfortable than the boundless darkness of unconsciousness. He blinked, acclimating to the light within the room, his gaze gradually shifting to the window where Tsunade sat in a wooden chair, her back to him as she gazed at the curtain of rain outside. The white strands of her hair were illuminated by the faint light filtering in, resembling a delicate layer of snow. The rain in the hidden mist had just ceased, leaving the stone path damp and reflecting the warm glow of lanterns on either side. Chitaki was flanked by Konin and Terumi Mei, walking through the bustling marketplace with the fragrant aroma of grilled fish, sweet dumplings, and the scent of sake wafting from street stalls enveloping them. Walk slower. Konin gently tugged at his sleeve, her fingertips brushing against his wrist, imparting a soft, tingling sensation. Look at that sugar painting stall. Doesn't it remind you of our childhood in the Rain Village? Chitaki followed her gaze, observing the skilled artisan meticulously crafting the shape of the nine-tailed fox with syrup on the stone path, the golden strands glimmering under the light. In the land of Lightning's Cloud Village, upon learning of Killer Bee's assault by the Akatsuki Sasuke, Raikage's fury erupted instantaneously. With a resounding crash, his fist descended, shattering the desk, scattering wooden splinters and documents across the floor. The Cloud ninjas in the office mirrored Raikage's seething rage. Darui, Raikage's bodyguard, stepped forward, his voice laced with suppressed anger. We must engage in direct combat and annihilate the Akatsuki. However, next to him, she remained remarkably composed, countering. The ninjas of the Akatsuki are formidable and elusive. We must first devise a detailed plan. Now the Hokage of Konoha, Kakashi dealt with numerous affairs daily. Having weathered the ravages of war, he found solace in the emergence of a new generation of young ninjas who could assist him. Kakashi pinched a rolled-up intelligence report, his fingertips repeatedly tracing over the words Nine Tails Jinchuriki. Chitaki's handwriting bore a deliberately restrained sharpness, yet it could not conceal the emphasis on the nine tails within its lines. He lifted his gaze towards the window. Faint sounds of training echoed from the direction of Konoha's training grounds. Moments later, he brought the report close to the candle's flame, watching it curl into charred ashes. In a secluded inn at the border of the Iron Country, the dim flicker of an oil lamp cast a warm glow on the wooden table, revealing various expressions among the group. Terumi Mei unconsciously traced the rim of her teacup with her fingertips, while Kurotsuchi gripped the hem of her clothing tightly. Almost simultaneously, both turned to Chitaki, their voices tinged with undeniable anxiety. Tomorrow is the Five Kage Summit. What should we do? Qianlong was toying with a string of beads when he heard the words. Lifting his gaze with a smile, his tone as relaxed as if discussing trivial matters. Love as you wish. Zuomei and Kurotsuchi exchanged glances, both perceiving confusion in each other's eyes. This statement seemed utterly nonsensical. In the conference hall of the Iron Country, the air was as heavy as steel tempered in ice. The central round stone table was polished to a sheen, surrounded by 5 chairs, each adorned with a long cloth embroidered with the emblems of the 5 great nations, the fiery red whirlpool of the Hokage, the earthy yellow patterns of the Tsuchikage, the water-blue waves of the Mizukage, the purple-black lightning of the Raikage, and the sand-brown hourglass of the Kazekage, their hues silently confronting one another in the dim light. On one side of the round table, Mifune, clad in samurai armor and wielding a long sword, sat upright like a pine tree. As the host, he surveyed the assembly, his fingers tightening slightly around the sword's hilt. Sasuke's infuriatingly arrogant demeanor ignited the Raikage's wrath. With a rip, the Raikage tore open his upper garments, and in an instant, a tempest of lightning chakra surged throughout his body. Blue-white currents raced across his form, crackling with a thunderous roar that shook the air, enveloping him in a visible layer of chakra armor, a pinnacle technique of the Raikage, capable of enhancing his physical prowess, executing lightning-fast movements, and withstanding heavy blows, pushing his neural reflexes to their utmost limits, a testament to unrivaled mastery in the realm of ninjutsu. Just as the figures of the Raikage and Kazekage vanished at the borders of the Iron Country, Qianlong and his companions sprang into action. Meanwhile, Kurotsuchi, Zuomei, and Kakashi had just reached the Iron Country's borders, promptly turning to engage in the encirclement plan as previously arranged, weaving an invisible net that silently secured the entire Iron Country. Almost simultaneously, they launched their assault from the borders, charging fiercely toward the heart of the Iron Country. The samurai outposts along the border were swiftly dismantled, and the forces pressed on relentlessly toward the major military installations within, heading straight for Mifune's location where Qianlong and Sasuke were locked in fierce combat. Kakashi's gaze transcended the battlefield, landing upon the masked figure. His voice, though not loud, resonated like a stone cast into a lake, sending ripples through the cacophony. Obito, I truly did not expect you to still be alive. For a fleeting moment, the breath behind the mask seemed to pause, with the distant clang of blades and the muted roar of chakra explosions providing a backdrop to his words. Obito feigned indifference, his gaze remaining fixated on the clash between Qianlong and Sasuke, as if Kakashi's words were merely the whisper of the wind. The colossal ape, a manifestation of Qianlong's spiritual energy, glared with its crimson eyes at Sasuke's Susanoo, a low growl of fury rumbling from its throat. With a bellow, the giant swung its fist, the size of a cauldron, slamming it down upon the armor of Susanoo with a force that split the air. The resounding crash echoed. As Sasuke's Susanoo was forced to retreat, cracks appearing instantly in its chest armor. Before Sasuke could regain his footing, the giant's fists continued to rain down, each strike heavier than a mountain. Sasuke pressed his hand against his throbbing eye, beads of cold sweat trickling down his forehead. During the 5 Kage summit, his Sharingan had been overexerted. In the training space for tailed beasts, the steam surrounded the 5 tails, Han, while the wings of the 7 tails, Fu, glimmered with an ethereal glow. The two transformed into their tailed beast forms, joining forces with Naruto to assault the 9 Tails prison. Chakra intertwined into chains, gradually pulling apart the heavy seal. The 9 Tails roar echoed deafeningly within the realm of consciousness, yet it could not deter the trio's combined might. Now's the time, Han exclaimed, as Fu's tailed beast chakra morphed into sharp spikes, thrusting forcefully into the gaps of the prison. A resolute gleam flashed in Naruto's eyes as the chakra within him began to separate and merge with the 9 Tails power, on the verge of transforming this energy into the perfect form of the Jinchuriki. The air in the consciousness space felt as heavy as lead, suffocating him. Naruto knelt on the ground, his hands gripping the fissures in the earth, knuckles whitening from the strain. The 9 Tails chakra surged like a dark tide, creeping up his limbs, leaving behind grotesque patterns on his skin as his vision began to be tainted with crimson. The images of Han and Fu being overwhelmed by the tailed beast ball flickered in his mind, fear entwining itself around his heart like creeping vines. He feared becoming an uncontrollable monster, terrified of disappointing everyone's hopes. Roar! The 9 Tails bellow resonated deeply within his consciousness. On the journey to the land of wind, the air laden with sand carried a sense of foreboding. Chojuro glanced at Kakashi beside him, his brow furrowing as he spoke. I wonder if anything is amiss with Naruto. He paused, confusion lacing his tone. Obito's behavior during the 5 Kage summit was exceedingly peculiar, utterly inscrutable. Kakashi's gaze was fixed on the undulating sand dunes ahead, his voice steady as if tempering the very winds. There will be no issues. He turned his head, his eyes beneath his forehead protector radiating certainty. Konoha has dispatched its elite, and with Guy present, we shall prevail. The land of wind, a vast and boundless desert realm, was largely shrouded in yellow sand, its natural environment harsh and resources scarce. Yet within this desolation, Sunagakure thrived like a resilient seed, establishing itself as the most significant military force and core stronghold of the land of wind. Founded by the first Kazekage, the village's structures were primarily constructed from local materials, built of sand and earth. The architectural layout was meticulously planned, radiating outward from the Kazekage's tower, with 9 streets extending in all directions, dividing the village into 9 distinct regions. Encircling the village were tiered rocky cliffs, forming a natural defensive barrier. The battles surrounding them raged ceaselessly. Explosions echoed like relentless thunder in the air, intertwined with the anguished cries of Sunagakure's shinobi, sharp and hoarse, trailing despair into the atmosphere. All of this penetrated Gaara's ears with crystalline clarity. He stood still, each sound piercing his eardrums like tiny needles. Kakashi crouched behind a cracked boulder, the blade of his great sword angled against the ground, reflecting the distant, dancing grains of sand. 30 meters away, An elder cloaked in deep brown stood shrouded in a wind hat. Chojuro stood at the edge of the dune, the hem of his black robe lifting slightly in the desert's hot breeze. He gazed at Gaara and Temari a few paces away, his expression as tranquil as an ice-covered lake. The surrounding sand shinobi reacted swiftly, a dozen figures converging around Gaara, shurikens and kunai drawn simultaneously. "Protect Lord Kazekage," someone bellowed as they stepped forward, blades gleaming coldly in the sunlight. Chiyo's fingers twitched slightly, her hands forming a serpent seal before her chest. "Water release, water gun." The moment the words left her lips, the parched desert ground suddenly fissured, and 3 robust columns of water erupted forth. The hem of the Akatsuki's black robe was lifted by the wind, revealing her elegantly sculpted legs as she leaped across the ruins. As she raised her hand, the earth release technique, earth flow wall, surged upwards instantaneously, crashing into the 3 charging sand shinobi, sending them sprawling like shattered stones. With minimal movement, her fingertips stirred, and the molten release created 3 searing streams of mud that solidified into twisted stone shells amidst the enemy's anguished cries. "Foul Akatsuki!" A thunderous shout sliced through the sand and dust as an elder's figure landed 20 meters away on a dilapidated building, clad in a brown robe embroidered with wind patterns. His skeletal fingers gripped a bronze serpent staff, his face etched with deep lines of age. In the courtyard of the Wind Country's daimyo's estate, Kankuro knelt on one knee, his fingertips pinching a rolled report. Incense wafted from an ornate bronze burner as the daimyo, adorned in a brocade robe, sat at the head of the gathering, flanked by a dozen somber guards. These were the elite warriors specially trained by the Wind Country, their sheathed blades glimmering with cloud patterns in the shadows of the corridor. The resolution of the 5 Kage summit had become clear. Kankuro's voice was steady, proclaiming the inevitability of the ninja world war, and the immediate mobilization of the Sand Village was required. Before he could finish, the wind chimes at the eaves suddenly emitted a jarring crack. Within the world of ninjas, Sunagakure had always been renowned for its unique geographical position and formidable ninja prowess. The 3rd Kazekage, hailed as the strongest Kazekage in history, was a legendary emblem of Sunagakure. He possessed the magnet release bloodline limit, enabling him to manipulate magnetic forces at will, transforming sand and iron into a formidable weapon for both offense and defense. Under his leadership, Sunagakure held a significant position within the ninja realm. However, this powerful Kazekage fell in an unknown battle to the village's prodigious puppet master, Sasori, whose body was repurposed into a puppet, becoming Sasori's most prized creation. The Akatsuki's black cloak billowed behind the 2 figures, with Kimimaro standing on the left, his pale skin faintly revealing the contours of his bones, his pupils reflecting the distant lights of the daimyo's estate like 2 flickering embers. On the right stood Haku, his deep blue hair cascading beside his cheek, fingertips entwined with strands of condensing moisture, the breath escaping him dissipating into the night breeze. Target confirmed. The daimyo of the Wind Country and his remaining guards are in that loft. Haku's voice was soft, yet carried an undeniable certainty. The intelligence reported that 3 remaining guards were all retired jonin from Sunagakure, accompanied by 2 others. As Chiyo and her companions traversed the outer gate barrier of Konoha, the afternoon sun filtered through the gaps in the leaves, casting mottled patterns of light upon the ground. The vigilant Leaf Village ninja, upon seeing Kakashi leading the group, paused momentarily before respectfully stepping aside to allow passage, recognizing the presence of the current Hokage. The individuals trailing behind him, though clad in diverse attire, exuded an undeniable aura of significance. The positioning of the Leaf Village is indeed delicate. Tsukimi's gaze roamed over the distant contours of the mountains, her fingertips absent-mindedly tracing the edges of a scroll. To the east lay the plains of the Land of Fire, while the western border was nestled against the mountainous region of the Land of Lightning. To the south, a vital waterway hub emerged. Regardless of which perspective the Land of Lightning might depict, the landscape of the Leaf Village, including Hokage Rock, training grounds, and the distant mountains, was rendered with exquisite detail, clearly the handiwork of a local artist. As Chitaki had just received a fan, a paper crane, delicately crafted from cherry blossom paper and adorned with a few powdery white petals, gently brushed against his cheek, courtesy of Conan. "Shall we see it take flight?" Her eyes sparkled with a light-hearted smile. The paper crane rested in Chitaki's palm, and with a subtle infusion of chakra, it began to flutter gracefully. twirling amid the falling cherry blossoms before gently alighting in the hair of Kurotsuchi. The young girl exclaimed in delight, reaching out to grasp the crane, only to stumble and fall onto her backside. Morning in the Leaf Village was always shrouded in a light mist, as sunlight pierced through the clouds. It cast a golden sheen upon the rock face engraved with the likenesses of past Hokages. Perched at the edge of a rocky summit, Chitaki gazed down at the revitalized Leaf Village, where once uneven structures of ninja dwellings had been replaced by orderly civilian residences. Adjacent to the training grounds, farmland had been cultivated, and a few children ran past the streets, clutching windmills, their laughter carried on the breeze to the mountaintop, ringing as sweetly as wind chimes. "What occupies your thoughts?" Konan's voice floated from behind, as she approached with a wooden tray bearing several bowls of warm miso soup. When Chitaki turned, he caught sight of Mei Terumi seated at the center of the Hokage's office, with Kakashi behind the Hokage's desk. Some of Chitaki's companions lounged on the sofa, while others stood to the side. With the wind country now obliterated, only the land of lightning remained. Obito had captured the Eight Tails, and we must swiftly address the land of lightning. Otherwise, Obito's hidden maneuvers could leave us vulnerable. We remain in a passive position, Scorpion assessed, his voice low as he analyzed the current situation. Chitaki reclined casually, his right arm draped over Kurotsuchi's shoulder. Tsukimi spoke directly. "My proposal is to consolidate the forces of the Cloud Village, leveraging the strength of the four great nations." Suddenly, the Raikage unleashed a burst of power akin to that of a tailed beast, sending Han hurtling away with a single punch. Han propelled several meters before abruptly halting midair, his gourd expelling steam, harnessing the tailed beast chakra within to sustain his speed and strength. "Protect the Raikage," commanded the other Cloud ninjas as they surged forward. In an instant, the steam from the gourd reached a scalding temperature, enveloping the crowd and melting through their defenses as the heat exceeded that of flames. "Do not throw your lives away. Let me handle this." Lightning bomb. The Raikage abruptly confronted Chitaki, who relayed the plan to Kimimaro and Haku, prompting them to spring into action immediately. Meanwhile, Chitaki and Konan ceased their concealment and charged directly toward the Raikage's office. Enemies obstructed their path, but Konan continuously unleashed explosive tags. The detonations erupted in rapid succession, disorienting the pursuers and plunging the scene into chaos. Seizing the moment, the pair hastened their pace, dashing toward the stone steps. Qianlong delivered a powerful kick to the Thunder Ninja standing before the door, producing a resounding thud as the opponent was sent crashing into the massive door behind him, which splintered under the impact. The ninja, along with the shattered door, tumbled into the office of the Raikage. At that moment, Akatsuchi had just shattered 3 spiraling wind blades with his colossal hand, when a flame licked at his rocky shoulder. The acrid scent of charred earth mixing with the dust, causing a grimace to form on his face. Opposite him stood 4 individuals, their presence palpable. With a burly man bearing a scar across his left cheek leading the group, he was known as Bayan. His arms were adorned with brown gauntlets, and fine strands of lightning danced at his fingertips. Beside him stood a woman with a single ponytail named Aya, who bore 2 short blades at her waist, their edges glistening with moisture. To his left was a bald man named Karu, whose forehead bore the mark of wind release, as he formed hand seals. Currents of air swirled around him. Lastly, there was a shorter youth named Torchi, who carried a coiled chain on his back, the links wrapped in a pale violet hue. The fist of the Raikage struck with a deafening crack, aimed directly at the man. The steam that enveloped the latter erupted violently as his palm met the oncoming blow, creating a thunderous collision at the center of the arena. The visible shockwave radiated from the 2 combatants, sending debris and dust swirling into the air. The ground beneath them cracked with a web-like pattern, each clash of fists and feet causing the earth to tremble. The Raikage's speed was such that he seemed to leave afterimages, while the man countered the assault with the explosive force of steam, their movements blurring into indistinct trails. Yet their energies remained palpable. Qianlong released the 2 fighters, and they obediently stepped aside, behaving with an unexpected docility. Observing their demeanor, Qianlong found it rather amusing. Yet, the individual before him was far from ordinary. The elderly man, gripping his cane, subtly shifted his hand, and as the base of the staff touched the ground, a faint sound echoed. The explosive energy that had surged throughout the space, nearly coalescing into a tangible force, was suddenly quelled as if by an invisible hand, calming the tumult like ripples on water. Xiao Nan, keen-eyed, was the first to sense the abrupt disappearance of that oppressive aura, which was clearly not the result of ordinary means. The blade of Jun Changfeng glinted coldly as it was drawn, reflecting the light upon Darui's forehead. Just as the serrated blade, imbued with lightning, came crashing down, the two weapons met mid-air, the chakras of wind and lightning erupting along the edges, igniting sparks that rained down upon the debris at their feet. Bai Yun deftly rotated his wrist, the sword gliding along the edge of Darui's blade towards his fingers. Yet was met with a sudden evasive maneuver from Darui, the gust from his left arm grazing past Bai Yun's nose. The water pattern gathering in his palm shimmered in the sunlight, indicating he had retained a hidden advantage. The sword from Konoha was indeed sharp and precise. Darui's voice mingled with the wind and sand as pale blue water began to seep from beneath him.